Chapter 44. Wearing a down jacket, Lu Qing couldn't wait to log into QQ and send a message to Yenjika. Guess if I won or lost? Yenjika replied with a squinting emoji. Of course you won. I can feel your smugness through the screen. But you actually beat a master of amateur first pin. At the end of the message, she added a dumbfounded emoji. Hey, I didn't have much hope, but because of someone's cheering, I performed 200% of my strength. Lu Qing deliberately used the nickname, someone. Yenjika replied with a laughing emoji covering its mouth. If I cheered you 100 times, would you be able to beat Dragon King? I think the gap between Dragon King and me is more than 100 times. Lu Qing sent a don't scare me emoji. Yenjika replied with a I'm going to scare you to death if you're a coward emoji. Come on, tell me how you won. I don't believe you are the Qing I know. Tell me. Did you steal his phone? Do you want a secret code? Lu Qing sent a smiling emoji. What secret code? Yenjika sent an emoji with a question mark above its head. Lu Qing replied with an emoji looking up at the sky. But I know your name, Yenjika. You are very famous in our grade and in our school. You are good in your studies, good in character, and beautiful. Everyone thought you would go to the capital or Huahai, but you went to Songqing. This was the content of their first chat in Songqing University. Lu Qing retold it according to his memory. Seeing it now, he felt a little warm. Yenjika replied with a blushing and smiling emoji. You were still a beginner in martial arts at that time. Who would have thought that you could defeat a master of amateur first pin now? Wait, you didn't say beautiful at that time. Well, you really are a fake Cheng. Really? I thought I would be frank and tell the truth. It seems that I was too shy at that time. Lu Qing sent a shy emoji with a big smile on his face. He didn't care about other people's opinions. The two of them chatted and laughed for a while before returning to the topic. Lu Qing quickly typed, originally, after I made a breakthrough in 24 blizzard strikes, I didn't expect to win against an amateur first pin master. I just wanted to fight as hard as I could. Who knew that he didn't know my background and was relatively cautious? He didn't burst out with full strength at the beginning but used a more balanced tiger shape. This gave me a chance to adapt to a battle of similar intensity, so that I wouldn't be forced into a fluster and be passive all the time. With Yenjika's interaction, he described the details of the fight in detail. When Yenjika saw that he had sensed Jin Tao's movement in advance and blocked the fast, accurate, and fierce tiger tail kick by a hair's breadth, Yenjika expressed her nervousness with an expression of, I'm so scared that my whole family dropped their dried fish. Then she expressed her yearning for the essence of his brutal blizzard force, which could be used to return and become stronger and stronger. The affirmation, support, and envy of his beloved girl unconsciously gave Lu Qing great satisfaction and happiness. He even felt that it was better than the cheers and shouts of the audience. At the end of the description, Lu Qing said with a smirk emoji, then I used the 24 blizzard strikes to suppress him again and again until his physical strength was exhausted. His last desperate attack with the cannon punch was firmly blocked by my mega avalanche and lightning and fire stance. Then I took advantage of the situation to finish the battle with a stride, elbow, pull and bump. Why does it sound so familiar? Yenjika sent a dazed expression. I remember it. Back then, senior brother Wudong was also worn down by your endurance. Yeah, who told them to have poor endurance? Lu Qing sent an emoji of laughing up to the sky. Yenjika sent 6 ellipses. I don't know what to say. If my cousin had your endurance, he could have swept the Guannan school in 3 rounds. Lu Qing sent a not as good as you said emoji of a silly smile. I have such a change because I started to practice martial arts. Although my endurance was good before, it was still far from the abnormal level. He once again paved the way for Jindan to provide stamina. Otherwise, Yenjika, who had the same high school experience as him, would easily find out that his long-distance running performance was only above average. Yenjika didn't say more about it. She sent a pitiful emoji. Cheng, I think you are already better than me. No, I have to get up. Get up and practice? Lu Qing replied with a smiling emoji. No, eat. Yenjika sent a hungry emoji. Lu Qing was amused by her cuteness. He replied, now that you mention it, I am also hungry. I almost forgot to eat. He held his phone and tightened his down jacket. He passed the service desk and walked out of the martial arts arena. At this time, the morning competition had completely ended. Fewer people were going out. The girls at the service desk saw Lu Cheng's back at a glance. Look! That Lu Cheng, he beat a master of amateur first pin this morning. The girl who had cheered for Lu Cheng pointed at him with pride. The girl next to her nodded thoughtfully. He is really a dark horse. He didn't rely on luck at all. This kind of fighter, the audience will definitely like to watch. Shall we recommend his competition tomorrow? The girl who cheered for Lu Cheng suggested. The other girl next to her laughed and said, why are you so enthusiastic? Are you attracted to him? Bah, you two little bitches. This is called being proactive and thinking about the audience wholeheartedly. The three girls laughed for a while and decided to send the girl who cheered for Lu Cheng to the supervisor. She sorted out the information, turned around the storage room and came to the supervisor's office. She gently knocked on the door 3 times. Come in. A male voice came from the office. She twisted the knob, pushed open the wooden door, and walked in a little nervously. Ling Ning, what's the matter? The supervisor was a middle-aged man with a Mediterranean hairstyle. Ling Ning took advantage of the girl's advantage and said with a smile, Supervisor, we found a very good fighter. Very good? How good? The supervisor put down the pen in his hand and leaned back in his chair. Ling Ning handed over the information. We only found out because the audience asked. He is a Songqing University student, only 18 years old. He has no rank, but he defeated Lu Yinglong of Baiyuan Martial Arts School, an amateur 6th pin fighter, and today's amateur 1st pin master. The supervisor took the information and listened to it while reading. Then he paused. He ran his fingers through his scant hair and said thoughtfully, he is indeed very good, and very interesting. You are very proactive in your work. Not bad, not bad. Well, arrange his competition in ring number 1 tomorrow. Ring number 1 was the central ring. In the 4th round of the competition, the strength of the fighters was relatively close, so there was no need to worry about the gap between the strong and the weak. Yenjika went to eat and chat with her family. Lu Cheng was sitting in a chair that could be crushed by accident, eating simple fast food and browsing the live broadcast posts in the BBS. In the post, Road to the Arena posted a picture with a pained expression. It was a picture of Invincible Punch taking a shower with his upper body naked after he had finished his training. His muscles were firm, and his lines were smooth. He looked pretty good. At the same time, Road to the Arena added a sentence, Little Punch lost. Let's share the picture. Wonton Seller was the first to reply with a nosebleed emoji. I suddenly feel that I should thank that contestant Lu Cheng. Yeah, if I had known this would happen, I would have bet on Little Punch to lose at the beginning. Light Sea Blue posted a crying fist clenched. Beautiful World replied, you guys are too mean. I will hold on. I will cheer for Little Punch. Sun, a beauty who often posted pictures, also said, no. I feel like eating young grass. Cat who loves wine sent an emoji with red hearts in its eyes. I didn't expect there would be a benefit for us girls. Looking at the girls' replies, No Hooligan said, look at you guys, I will also consider sharing my nude photos. Okamoto's fan replied, No Hooligan, hurry up, take off your pants. Damn, I treat you as a brother, but you are actually coveting my ass. No Hooligan sent a vicious emoji. Lu Cheng laughed while eating at the sight of them going off topic as usual. Finally, Unparalleled Dragon King, a martial arts fanatic, replied seriously, do you have any detailed information about that Lu Cheng? I am curious about his background, but I don't know anything about him. Invincible Punch popped up. I only know that he is a student of Songqing University. A student of Songqing University? Because of Lin K, I pay special attention to the competition of Songqing University Martial Arts Club, but there is no contestant named Lu Cheng. Unparalleled Dragon King sent a puzzled emoji. Brahman appeared. Wow, I like this kind of mysterious master the most. Pig Riding Knight followed. Do you have a video of Lu Cheng's competition? Let me see. It seems there is a replay on the big screen. I will record it with my phone. Road to the Arena replied. Not long after, he posted a video of two fighters fighting fiercely and quickly on the big screen. It was Lu Cheng and Invincible Punch. Not bad. Lu Cheng put down his chopsticks and replied. He saved the link of the video and sent it to Yenjika. He planned to download the whole video on the broadband when he returned to the hotel as a souvenir. 24 Blizzard Strikes. He is indeed a student of Songqing University. Unparalleled Dragon King replied. But his 24 Blizzard Strikes has reached the primary level, which is not worse than Lin K's. Why is he still unknown? That was a wonderful fight. Little Punch, you are also very good, but your opponent is stronger. Wonton Seller said. Invincible Punch said, I know. To be honest, I was a little unconvinced when I failed in the last two ranking events. I thought it was because of my bad luck that I didn't become a professional 9th pin fighter. But after today's fight, I know my strength clearly. There is always someone better than me. I am indeed still far from a professional 9th pin fighter. Lu Cheng felt a great sense of achievement and satisfaction when he saw that his former target was convinced. He pretended to be reserved and replied, Invincible, you are actually very good. Pig Riding Knight also said, your opponent is obviously a professional. Little Punch, you are very good to be able to fight to this extent. Hey, professional. Come on, continue to praise me. Lu Cheng refreshed the page with a shameless smile, waiting for other replies. He saw familiar IDs such as, No Hooligan, a plumber eating mushrooms, Wine Lover Cat, Light Sea Blue, Beautiful World, and Sun, saying that Lu Cheng was really mysterious. His martial arts level was obviously so strong, but he didn't represent Songqing University Martial Arts Club. They also said that 24 Blizzard Strikes was especially beautiful when Lu Cheng used it. It was especially crazy and fierce. Just watching the video made people shudder. These replies made Lu Cheng feel a little tipsy. He couldn't stop smiling. He really wanted to ask Yenjika to see it. Professional level at 18 years old. Maybe he will join Longhu Club in the future. I like this kind of hidden mysterious master. Brahman replied again. At this moment, the little girl, Wonton Seller, tagged Schrodinger's Tiger, who was Lu Cheng. Little Tiger, I remember you joined the martial arts club of your university. Songqing University Martial Arts Club has a hidden mysterious master. Does your martial arts club have one? Of course. Lu Cheng replied with a smiling emoji. Who? Who is it? Wonton Seller sent a curious emoji. Lu Cheng replied with a laughing emoji with arms akimbo. Me. I'm the hidden mysterious master. Pfft, little tiger, you are getting better at joking. Wonton Seller replied. Beautiful World also replied, Tiger, you are getting more and more exaggerated. Lu Cheng smiled and didn't continue the discussion. He put down his phone and focused on eating. Chapter 45. To be honest, if Lu Cheng had to add a label for himself, he felt that food lover was bound to be included. When he first came to Yenling, he had wanted to experience the local specialties. However, all of that couldn't beat the word poor. In order to ensure that he wouldn't get on the train with an empty stomach on the return trip, he had to split his money in half and spend it carefully, relying on simple roadside meals to satisfy his hunger. Putting down his bowl and chopsticks, he did not leave immediately. Instead, he looked at the local specialty roast duck opposite him and swallowed his saliva. He muttered to himself, when the heavens are about to bestow a great responsibility upon a man, they will surely suffer hardships in their will, toil their muscles and bones, starve their skin, starve their skin, starve their skin, starve. With a self-deprecating laugh, he took out his phone and chatted with Yenjika, who was resting after dinner. When she started practicing, he slowly walked back to the martial arts arena. For the entire afternoon, he wandered around different arenas, watching the matches of one martial artist after another. Like a sponge that had been thrown into water, he hungrily absorbed the essence of various fighting styles, and deduced his own responses in his mind. Even in high school, when he knew that studying was the best way out, he didn't take the initiative, immerse himself, and forget himself. He even completely forgot to browse forums, Weibo, and watch video clips. After the match, he went back to the hotel, took off his jacket, and went to the small park nearby. He turned today's accumulation and harvest into one move after another practice. It's better to practice once than to think 100 times. His fists were like cannons, and his kicks were like hammers. His punches and kicks tore through the air, making crisp sounds. They were very rhythmic, fierce, and crazy, like the attack of a violent snowstorm. As he practiced to his heart's content, his every move became more and more terrifying. His moves were like a roaring torrent, roaring and surging, drowning everything in its path. The sky was getting dark, and snowflakes were falling, dancing in the air with Lu Cheng's every move. Suddenly, the sound of punches and kicks around him stopped. His right palm quickly struck out, as fast as thunder, with half of his strength and half of his strength. As soon as he withdrew his right palm, his left palm struck out, and the two joined each other without leaving a gap. They intersected with low kicks, weaving a soft and dense attack net. If the Mega Avalanche was the fiercest and most terrifying move of the blizzard, then this set of palm techniques was the softest and most fatal move of the blizzard. From the very beginning, the cold had been silently attacking, so fast that it was almost impossible to dodge. By the time it hit, it was already too late to dispel it. The second force of the 24 blizzard strikes, the bone-chilling coldness. After a few rounds, Lu Cheng stopped and exhaled a mouthful of foul air, which turned into white smoke like an arrow. This fighting style was indeed derived from the unique skill of the ice sect. Every time he practiced, he would gain something new. Instead of going back to the hotel, he took out his phone and sent a message to Yenjika to share his joy. I had the same feeling when I was practicing martial arts this afternoon. Perhaps this is the charm of martial arts. Yenjika replied with a blushing and smiling emoji. Whoa, my cousin wants to take me shopping. I'm so tired. Pitiful emoji, Lu Cheng said with concern, if you're tired, then don't go. Reject her righteously. At this point, he started joking again. If you don't dare, I'll help you. No, she said she would treat me to delicious food. I'm tempted. Yenjika sent a laughing emoji covering its mouth. My cousin is a monster when we're shopping. She won't feel tired after 3 or 4 hours. I feel like she's as good as you. Lu Cheng thought for a while and sent a prostrating emoji. I think I'll lose. His body wouldn't feel tired, but his mind would. They chatted and laughed. After dinner, Lu Cheng returned to the hotel. He took off his clothes and entered the bathroom. He let the hot water gently hit his body, washing away all the dust and mental tiredness. He closed his eyes comfortably. His vision was filled with water vapor, hazy like a fantasy. Thinking of the experience of the past 3 days, Lu Cheng did feel like he was in a dream. But his growth was so real. It seemed that he was completing some kind of transformation, or maybe even maturing a little bit. After the shower, he dried his body and hurriedly washed his clothes. Because he didn't bring enough clothes and didn't trust the laundry service of this small hotel, his martial arts suit hadn't been washed for 3 days. Calculating the time, it was just the right time to change to the second suit. After 3 or 4 days of wearing the second suit, even if this one was still wet, he could wear his daily clothes and go home. After doing all this, he turned on the computer and downloaded the video. Then he threw himself under the quilt and fell into the softness, feeling the beauty of life. Lu Qing picked up his phone and logged on QQ. When he was about to chat with Yenjika, who was shopping, a familiar avatar sent him a message. Beep. Fatty Jiang? Lu Qing said to himself. This was Jiang Fei, his classmate and good friend in high school, who was admitted to Guangnan. The guy whose nickname was Fatty Jiang said, Qing, when will you get home? Our class is going to have a gathering. I still have 4 or 5 days. Lu Qing answered vaguely. Who's going to join? Jiang Fei replied, it's not decided yet, but it should be a lot. Why is your school holidays so late? I'm delayed by something. Lu Qing didn't mention the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. If Fatty Jiang knew that he had become an amateur master, his glasses would probably be broken. After answering the question perfunctorily, he sent another message. Do you want to invite a teacher? Jiang Fei said, I don't know. Let's see what the program is. If we go to karaoke or something, it's not good to have a teacher with us. If we go to the farmhouse, we can ask them to play cards and fish. Then count me in. We haven't seen each other for a semester. Lu Qing replied happily. Jiang Fei replied with a smirk emoji, by the way, Qing, let me tell you a piece of gossip. What kind of gossip? Lu Qing was interested. Jiang Fei said, when I came back, I saw Du Liu getting on the bus halfway. He was holding hands with Song Li from class 3. Class 3? Isn't that Yenjika's class? Lu Qing was shocked and replied, they got into the same school. More or less. 2 schools in the same city near each other. After a while, they hooked up. Just like the old saying, I treat you as a fellow countryman, but you want to hit on me. Jiang Fei typed quickly. Damn, an arrow in the knee. Lu Qing wiped the non-existent cold sweat. Fatty Jiang, then what? Then what? I saw them and they saw me. They let go of my hand instantly and asked me not to tell others. But it doesn't matter if we talk about our relationship. Jiang Fei sent a laughing emoji. Lu Qing held his phone and laughed. Why do I feel like you're a killjoy? By the way, there are many pretty girls in Guangnan. Are you in a relationship? Bah. There are many pretty girls, but our department is miserable. There are only 5 girls in this batch, known as the 5 golden flowers. Jiang Fei sent a sad emoji. By the way, don't tell others about Du Liu and the others. Otherwise, they will scold me. While chatting with Jiang Fei, Lu Qing sent a message to Yenjika. Let me tell you a piece of gossip. Du Liu from our class is in a relationship with Song Li from your class. After sending the message, he saw Jiang Fei's warning. The corner of his mouth twitched suddenly. To me, Yenjika is not someone else. After a few minutes, Yenjika replied with a dumbfounded emoji. What? Song Li, this little girl, is in a relationship? She didn't say anything when we were chatting before. I have to interrogate her. Don't tell others that I told you. Lu Qing also reminded her. The secret was spread because of people like Jiang Fei and me. I want to repent. On the other side, Jiang Fei said after chatting for a while, Qing, old Qing asked me to go out for a barbecue and a drink. Talk later. Qing Chili was another good friend of Lu Cheng's in high school. They grew closer because they went to day school together. Go ahead. Help me punch him. If I don't contact him, he won't contact me. He never takes the initiative to talk. Lu Qing joked. His high school life was boring and depressing. But after a few months of college, he could feel the joy hidden in the hard work of studying. That was the most youthful period of his life. Yenjika chatted and interrogated while shopping. It was very tiring. After a long time, she replied to Lu Qing with a proud smile emoji. It's true. They've been together for 2 months. If you meet Du Liu, help me bully him if you have the chance. How dare he steal my dear girl who sits behind me without telling me? My class has a gathering before the end of the year. Lu Qing sent a smirk emoji that said, don't worry about me. My class has won too, but I can't go. Yenjika replied with a messy emoji. The two of them chatted happily. Lu Qing strolled around and read the content posted by his friends. Suddenly, he saw that Zhao Chang changed his QQ nickname to Zay Scholar, and his signature changed to **********. Lu Qing was stunned and decided to pretend that he didn't see it. He checked the time on his phone and continued chatting with Yenjika. While waiting, he opened the browser and logged in to the official website of the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament. He browsed the tournament report and the follow-up schedule. In the highlights of the competition, he saw his own figure. He struggled to get up and downloaded the video on his computer. As for the rest of the competition, because there were only 103 martial artists left, there would be one free pass in the 4th round of elimination tomorrow morning. There would be 51 battles in 5 arenas. In the afternoon, there would be 12 martial artists who were lucky enough to pass and directly participate in the group stage. The remaining 40 contestants would fight in pairs and enter the 5th round of elimination. 2 matches in one day. Even if I don't get a bye in the afternoon, my physical strength advantage will be maximized. If I don't meet a professional 9th pin fighter, it won't be a problem for me to enter the group stage. Now only the 4th round is left. Lu Qing thought. This wasn't a game. The consumption of physical strength was not only reflected in the attributes, but also led to the reduction of strength and speed. It was a comprehensive reduction of overall strength. The next day, Lu Qing got up at 5:30 as usual and did his daily training in a small park nearby. At 7:20, he returned to the hotel. He washed his sweat and tidied himself up. Then he picked up his phone and sent a message to Yenjika. Morning. Almost at the same time, Yenjika also sent a message. Morning. With tacit understanding and a smile, Lu Qing only felt that the beginning of the day was so beautiful. In the martial arts hall, Old Zheng and other spectators entered one by one and came to the big screen to look at today's match list. He subconsciously looked for Lu Qing's number and name. Because there were only 51 fights, the corresponding content came into his view quickly. Him. This opponent is not easy to deal with. The service desk recommended him on the first day. Old Zheng took a deep breath. Chapter 46. For the first time since the beginning of January, the sky in Yanling had cleared up. The sun was shining on the earth, making people feel cheerful. Lu Qing hummed a song, wearing a down jacket and a Songqing University martial arts suit with white and black edges. He walked briskly into the stadium and came to the big screen, looking for his number and name. The 4th round of knockout would be the biggest test to determine whether he could advance to the group stage. He had gone through 3 tests and transformed bit by bit. He would be lying to himself if he said he didn't change his attitude toward the group stage. At the very beginning, the group stage matches were like a fleeting hope that was hard to reach. There was only a sliver of possibility. He had booked his accommodation until the end of the group stage just in case he was lucky enough to draw the weakest team and get a bye. Even God couldn't stop him if he had good luck. But now, he was only one door away from the group stage. He could reach it with his hand. The hope was so big that he couldn't help but start to imagine, to aspire, to be excited, and to worry about his gains and losses. Please don't draw a mighty one of professional 9th pin in the 4th round, Lu Qing prayed silently in his heart. His eyes were fixed on the number 656. Ring 1, round 6, number 656, Lu Qing, 18 years old, no rank. Number 18, Wu Shitong, 17 years old, amateur 2nd pin. Good luck. Lu Qing felt happy in his heart, but soon he came back to himself. Ring 1? Isn't this the central ring? It means that my match will be exposed to most of the audience. Even if there were no more than 2,000 people in the group stage and the top 16, hundreds of thousands of eyes would still make people tremble in fear. The focus of the crowd was always so beautiful and so difficult to digest. Lu Qing took a deep breath, a little nervous and a little excited. He unlocked the screen of his phone and was about to report the result of the draw to Yenjika. He saw that she sent a message 3 minutes ago with an emoji of putting her hands together. Not professional ninth pin, not professional ninth pin, not professional ninth pin. Lu Cheng was amused, and his heart was filled with warmth and joy. He smiled and replied, I was wondering why I was so lucky today. It's because of your good luck. When I go back to school, I must treat you to a meal. This was called hitting a snake with a stick. He was trying to ask Yenjika out in private at the beginning of the next semester. Yenjika sent a drooling emoji. I won't hold back. Amateur second pin or amateur third pin? Seeing her reply, Lu Cheng couldn't help but wave his fist and murmur, yes. After 2 tragedies where his routine couldn't keep up with the changes, he finally found a chance to ask Yenjika out. Sure enough, they still had to go through some things together for the topic to naturally evolve into eating or watching a movie. Amateur second pin, much better than I expected. Lu Cheng replied with a laughing emoji. Yenjika replied with a proud emoji of pushing up her sunglasses. Not bad. My prayers weren't in vain. But you can't be careless. Those who can make it to the 4th round of the knockout game are no weaklings. Besides, you are at least of amateur second pin. Too many things have happened to you. Thank you for your advice, Coach Yen. Lu Cheng replied with a smile. While chatting and laughing, he came to the front of the line. Before he opened his mouth, the girl at the service desk, Ling Ning, said with a smile, Be careful of your opponent today. But I believe you can win. Her voice was slightly raised at the end, showing some liveliness. Be careful. This opponent is not simple. Lu Cheng replied with a smile, What's so special about him? He is a lay disciple of Daxing Temple. Ling Ning said as she printed out Wu Shitong's detailed information and handed it to Lu Cheng. A lay disciple of Daxing Temple? Lu Cheng was stunned and unconsciously felt a little more dignified. He reached out and took the information. Daxing Temple was one of the 12 top-level forces, along with Shangqing Sect, Shushan Study, Yanzhao League, Weiyue Club, Longhu Club, and Xinghai Club. Daxing Temple was one of the 12 top-level forces, and it was at the level of the 3rd and 2nd. It had a long history and had obtained the true essence of Buddhism. It was not hard to imagine what its lay disciples were like. Wu Shitong, from Yanling, 17 years old, a lay disciple of Daxing Temple. Lu Cheng read the information silently. It did not reveal what martial arts Wu Shitong was good at. But from his first round of elimination of amateur 7th pin, the second round of elimination of amateur 3rd pin, and the 3rd round of elimination of amateur 2nd pin, it was obvious that he had a stable performance. And he was not an ordinary one of amateur 2nd pin. He took a deep breath, moved aside and sent the information to Yenjika. Yenjika replied with a dumbfounded emoji. He is a lay disciple of Daxing Temple. But why is he only of amateur 2nd pin? Amused by her last sentence, the heaviness in his heart dissipated a little. Maybe it's because I'm too young. Or maybe it's because I was unlucky in the ranking event. This was not a joke. The ranking event was a test of luck. Every year, the number of fighters of each level below professional 4th pin was fixed. Generally, it was 10% to 15% of the applicants. Then, according to this ratio, they would be divided into a certain number of groups. Within each group, they would fight against each other. The top 2 would enter the last round of elimination. If they were unlucky and were assigned to the strong group, they would encounter 2 fighters who happened to be a little stronger than them. Then, they could only watch the defeated fighters who were assigned to the weak group cheering and jumping for joy. Therefore, Lu Cheng had begun to treat Wu Shitong as a real amateur 1st pin. Of course, it could not be ruled out that Wu Shitong had only participated in the ranking event once and had not been there again, so his current strength could not be estimated by rank. Yenjika sent an emoji of touching the head. Anyway, he is not at the professional level. You beat Jin Tao yesterday, so you have a chance to beat him today. If he is at the professional level, I will focus on participating. Lu Qing made a self-deprecating comment and replied with an emoji of patting the chest. Coach Yen, don't worry. After yesterday's battle, I am very confident and will not be afraid. Yenjika sent an emoji of so angry immediately. There are many kinds of martial arts in Daxing Temple. I don't know which style he is good at, so I can't target him. This was common knowledge in martial arts. Lu Qing knew it without searching. Daxing Temple had 9 unique skills, including Buddha's Great Light Scripture and Womb Realm and Vajra Realm. Among them, the Akalanatha body of wisdom of the Womb Realm derived from indestructible Vajra and Golden Bell Shield, the Wisdom Fist seal derived from Vajra Realm derived from Vajra Fist and other Zen Kung Fu in Vajra Realm derived from Buddha's elephant throwing skill, and the Vajra seal derived from Great Steel Breaking Hand and Great Steel Throwing Hand. There were too many choices for lay disciples to choose from without seeing it with their own eyes. And my match highlights were replayed on the big screen today. Lu Qing sent a shivering emoji, which meant that his opponent knew what he was good at, but he knew nothing about his opponent's fighting style. Yenjika immediately replied without using an emoji, then check if there are any match highlights on the big screen. I'll look for them on the official website. After a while, when it was almost 9 o'clock, Yenjika sent an emoji of 2 blank eyes. There is no such kung fu in the competition highlights on the official website. Did he win too easily, or too simply and plain? Seeing that she was so devoted to helping him look for information, Lu Qing felt very sweet. This trip to Yenling not only changed his martial arts and mentality, but also made some good progress in his relationship with Yenjika. When he successfully involved her in his affairs, she would always accumulate investment, care, and concern little by little, and not just be limited to idle chatter. Of course, Casanova Kai Zongming once said that feeling that she likes me was the first of the 3 biggest illusions in life, so he couldn't be too blindly optimistic. There are no match highlights of Daxing Temple disciples on the big screen, replied Lu Qing. Forget it. I'll just take it as another kind of competition experience. In life, it's inevitable to meet an enemy that you don't know about while the opponent knows about you. This will be a good training for my on-the-spot judgment and performance. Thanks to the transformation in the past few days, he adjusted his mentality quickly and comforted Yenjika. Yenjika replied with a nodding emoji, yes, yes. But even if we don't know exactly what kind of martial arts Wu Shitong is good at, we can still classify the martial arts of Daxing Temple disciples and make some plans for different styles. The more prepared we are, the more relaxed we will be when we encounter him. Wise Coach Yen. Lu Qing praised sincerely. The two quickly started to collect information and discuss this issue. During the process, Lu Qing asked the girl at the service desk, but found that she didn't know what kind of martial arts Wu Shitong was good at. In the seats near the central ring, Lu Yinglong came to watch Lu Cheng's match again. He seemed to regard Lu Cheng as a continuation of his goal. Losing to the top 32 sounded better than losing to someone who didn't even make it through the knockout rounds. Sitting beside him were the disciples of Baiyuan Martial Arts School. They were all defeated in the 4th round. Wu Shitong is really something. Qin Jilin sighed. They were both from Yenling, but Wu Shitong was already an amateur second-pin disciple of Daxing Temple at the age of 17. Lu Yinglong nodded. This is going to be a fierce battle. Not far from them, a strong teenager in a red and yellow Daxing Temple disciple uniform was staring at the big screen. After a while, he murmured, 24 blizzard strikes. When the 4th match began in the central ring, Lu Cheng had a preliminary classification of Daxing Temple's body refining and dance stage martial arts, and a corresponding plan. I have to calm down. Lu Cheng sent a waving hand emoji. Yenjika replied with a fist clenching and encouraging emoji, I've already lent you my wisdom and character. Then, she took the initiative to send a voice message. Lu Cheng smiled and listened to it. A familiar voice came into his ears, go ahead, young man. Go for victory. Lu Cheng couldn't help but smile. His anxiety disappeared and he saved the voice message. The third cheer was not as surprising as the first two, but it was more tacit and warm, just like how he felt every time he came home, plain and meaningful. He put away his phone, stood up, and walked to the central ring where hundreds of thousands of spectators were watching. His fighting spirit was rolling in his heart. So what if you are a Daxing Temple disciple? Chapter 47. Calming his mind and qi, Lu Qing observed himself with the help of the Jindan. He wriggled his muscles and adjusted his state of mind. He forgot everything except the competition and focused all his attention and spirit on the competition. Unconsciously, he heard the announcement from the referee in the center of the ring. Round 5, Yi Yaoting wins. The fourth and fifth matches were over. Lu Qing opened his eyes, which were as dark as a deep pool. He walked to the center of the ring and stepped on the familiar yet strange stone stairs. He used to envy the leading members of the martial arts club who could walk on this glorious path. Now he finally had a chance to try it. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. He finished the stairs and stepped into the ring, standing on the right side of the referee. During this process, he was keenly aware that there were hundreds of pairs of eyes staring at him. He also heard the sparse applause and cheers. Although it was far less enthusiastic than the black mass of heads and tsunami-like cheers in the Songqing University Martial Arts Stadium, those belonged to Lin Ke and Chen Zhanghua, and this belonged to him. At eye level, Lu Qing saw Wu Shitong, a disciple of Daxing Temple. He was wearing a red and yellow martial arts suit with a lotus pattern on the cuffs. He had a strong body and a medium height. He had a light beard, but it didn't show his maturity. Instead, it showed his childishness. He's still a 17-year-old boy. As soon as this thought appeared in Lu Qing's mind, the last bit of fear he had for Wu Shitong melted like snow under the sun. He looked up and saw the big screen diagonally above him. It showed his confrontation with Wu Shitong and a line of bright words. Disciple of Daxing Temple vs Mysterious Master. Buddhist Zen Kung Fu vs Unique Skill of the Ice Sect. In the stands, Zheng and the other spectators adjusted their sitting positions and looked forward to the start of the competition. Looking at the words on the big screen, they felt a little excited. Martial arts was the ultimate of one's physical body. It ignited the yearning and worship for the strong left in the hearts of human beings since the primitive society. Have any of you watched the Daxing Temple Disciples competition? What is he good at? Zheng asked subconsciously. On the first day, he went to watch one of Wu Shitong's fights according to the recommendation, but the whole process was not interesting. He only vaguely remembered that Wu Shitong's palm technique was firm and did not give his opponent any chance. Old Zheng's companions looked at each other and shook their heads blankly. We were working before. If it weren't for your strong recommendation, how could we have used up our leave in advance? Old Zheng didn't say anything else. He didn't know why, but his heart tightened and he became more worried about Lu Qing. Lu Yinglong looked at the big screen and asked as if he was talking to himself, which one of you watched Wu Shitong's match before? I watched a match. He used the Grand Steel Breaking Hand and Grand Steel Breaking Hand. He was quite powerful. Qin Jilin recalled. Looks like he's walking the path of a fierce exorcist. Lu Yinglong nodded. His gaze returned to the arena, and he didn't say anything else as he waited for the fierce battle to begin. In the nearby stands, a young man with a crew cut glanced at the big screen and made a sound of surprise. Master, that's the student from our hotel. He's really here to participate in the competition. He was wearing a dark cyan martial arts suit with mountain-shaped patterns on the cuffs and collar. The old man with big earlobes laughed. I'm old. You can't judge a book by its cover. He's already in the 4th round, so he's not weak. The crew-cut young man clasped his hands with a faint iron color. He seems to know the unique skills of the Ice Sect. No wonder. The old man suddenly understood. Little Yi, watch carefully. Maybe you'll meet him in the next match. Although you're already a professional 9th pin, you can't underestimate this kind of outstanding amateur fighter. Yes. The crew-cut young man nodded hard. Suddenly, he said with some depression, Master, I'll definitely make it to the top 4. You've helped me a lot for my father's illness. The old man smiled. A teacher for a day is a father for life. This is not only for the disciple, but also for the master. Don't say any more. Do your best. Your 2 junior sisters are still waiting for you to treat them. Okay. The crew-cut young man subconsciously clenched his fists and looked at the arena. Because of the eye-catching slogan, all the spectators turned their eyes to the center arena. For a moment, Lu Qing felt exposed under the spotlight. They brought pressure, but they also brought happiness. At this moment, Wu Shitong opened his mouth and said with a smile, "I've seen the highlights of your previous matches. The 24 blizzard strikes is nothing more than this." It was the first time that Lu Qing was provoked during a conversation. Anger rose in his heart. Nothing more than this? Nothing more than this? I can beat you. But he quickly calmed down as he was meditating on the condensation stance. He told himself not to be affected by words. He didn't want to be influenced by emotions during the match and make mistakes. In a martial arts battle, emotional and spiritual factors were also very important. The confrontation at the spiritual level was something that was inevitable when one stepped into the higher ranks. After calming down, Lu Qing said with a slight smile, "I've watched a lot of matches these days and have some impression of you. Since you're a disciple of Daxing Temple, you seem to be more in line with the requirements of Zen Kung Fu by maintaining a humble and compassionate attitude." He told a lie, implying that he had watched Wu Shitong's matches and knew his martial arts. Wu Shitong was stunned. A trace of panic flashed across his face, and then he went back to normal without any ripples. Buddha also has fire. Besides compassion, there is also Vajra subduing demons. Lu Qing didn't respond. He just kept a mysterious smile, as if to say, "I've seen through you." This was the most superficial confrontation of the mind, which was also encountered in daily life. Wu Shitong also closed his mouth and adjusted his breathing. The rest of the time ticked away, creating more and more pressure. The referee raised his hand, looked left and right, and then suddenly waved it down, "Start." As soon as he finished his words, Lu Qing moved quickly toward Wu Shitong, swaying his center of gravity. In the stands, the spectators applauded and cheered for the first attack of the match. Wu Shitong's expression became more dignified. It seemed that he couldn't determine Lu Qing's real direction, so he lowered his waist and put on a stable defensive posture. Lu Qing suddenly changed his center of gravity and went to the right side of Wu Shitong. His left palm was as fast as the wind, with bursts of coldness, but there was no sound of air breaking. In his mind, there was a picture of the cold before the heavy snow. The second move of 24 blizzard strikes, chilling to the bone. Faced with this extraordinarily fast palm, Wu Shitong didn't panic at all. He lifted his elbow and blocked Lu Qing's slap just in time. Bam! Lu Qing withdrew his palm as soon as it touched Wu Shitong. He only spat out half of his strength, and then he chose to stop. Borrowing some strength, he pulled his body to the front of Wu Shitong. Just as he moved away from his original position, a crisp sound burst out. Wu Shitong made a whip kick to where he was, but it fell into the air. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Qing hit Wu Shitong's neck with a fast palm with full strength. He always kept some strength to guard against the unknown moves of unknown opponents. This attack was mainly to test his strength. Just as Wu Shitong's whip kick returned, Lu Qing's right palm had already arrived. He took a deep breath and pushed his palms forward without accumulating strength. However, his momentum was still astonishing, almost enough to break a stone. Lu Qing felt the firm and mighty power as soon as he made contact with Wu Shitong's palm. He also felt the changes in Wu Shitong's muscles through his pores. Adjusting his body and changing his center of gravity, Lu Qing quickly borrowed some strength and dodged to the side. Using his footwork, his palms and low kicks crisscrossed to attack, gradually weaving a soft and dense net of attacks. Each wave was faster than the previous one, and each wave was higher than the previous one, making the enemy breathless. During this process, Lu Qing still kept some strength to deal with unexpected changes. Gradually, he had a preliminary judgment of Wu Shitong's martial arts. His opponent mainly used strong and fierce palms, so he should have combined the strengths of Grand Steel Breaking Hand and Grand Steel Breaking Hand. If he was hit on the torso or the head, he probably wouldn't be able to continue the fight. Correspondingly, Wu Shitong's footwork belonged to the strong and fierce type, which was short of flexibility and guerrilla fighting. Lu Cheng's attack with the momentum of chilling to the bone was just enough to restrain him. If he were to meet Lu Yinglong, a full-arm boxing expert, he would be in an even more sorry state. As this thought flashed through his mind, he visualized the brutal blizzard in his mind and infused ferocity and madness into his chilling bone. His heart lake, as cold as a mirror, constantly listened to his opponent's changes and borrowed his strength. Each punch was heavier than the previous one, and each kick was faster than the previous one. Very soon, Wu Shitong's disadvantage in terms of strength was erased. Wu Shitong was no longer able to fight back. In the stands, there was another burst of applause and cheers for Lu Cheng's storm-like attack. Several times, Wu Shitong wanted to use the explosive moves of Grand Steel Breaking Hand and Grand Steel Breaking Hand to get out of trouble. However, Lu Cheng, who had fought fiercely with an invincible punch yesterday, had the corresponding experience, so he didn't give in. Instead, he used lightning and fire stance to push the momentum of Mega Avalanche and blocked the attacks head-on. Lu Yinglong slightly frowned and whispered to his junior brother Qin Jilin, "Wu Shitong is not as strong as we thought. Does he really have the strength of second pin? It should be because of the restraint of his fighting style. Those two palms are not easy to deal with." Qin Jilin pondered. In the heat of the battle, Lu Qing shook his right hand and thrust out his fist like a spear. With a crisp sound, it hit Wu Shitong's hurried left arm. Bam! With a muffled sound, Wu Shitong's left arm was shaken and bounced back by the tremendous force, leaving a large gap in front of his chest. Lu Qing didn't let him go. He borrowed strength again and threw out his left fist like a dragon, drilling into Wu Shitong's chest. Puff! Wu Shitong's chest was hit, but Lu Qing didn't feel like he had hit flesh and blood. Instead, he felt like he had hit a piece of hardwood, making a strange sound. Lu Cheng's expression changed slightly. He was about to retreat, but his wrist was caught by a hand with a faint golden glow. Golden bell cover. Wu Shitong's fundamental skill was the golden bell cover. He used the conversation time to provoke Lu Cheng, the initial passivity, and the Grand Steel Breaking Hand and Grand Steel Throwing Hand at critical moments to tell Lu Cheng a story that was close to the truth. It was a story about a disciple of Daxing Temple who was good at palms. Lu Cheng gradually lost his intention to test Lu Cheng's strength and began to attack wildly to suppress him. But at the end of the story, everything was reversed. In Lu Cheng's sight, Wu Shitong slightly raised the corner of his mouth and revealed a smile. The childishness on his face completely disappeared, as if he was saying, "So what if you have seen my previous matches? They haven't forced me to use my golden bell cover." His right hand firmly grasped Lu Cheng's left wrist. P.S. A thought suddenly came to my mind. Is it because all the fake monks who use the golden bell cover love to tell stories? As usual, I will update in advance on Monday. Chapter 48. Lu Cheng felt as if his wrist was tightly gripped by an iron clamp and his bones were in pain. His eyes reflected Wu Shitong's confident smile. At that moment, he couldn't help but feel a little panicked. In a split second, he was sure of one thing. That was, Wu Shitong was not good at dealing with guerrilla attacks and was easily restrained by Lu Cheng's chilling to the bone momentum and the full-arm boxing style. Otherwise, he wouldn't be an amateur second-pin fighter. Therefore, Lu Cheng deliberately and patiently baited him with a good story. When Lu Cheng fell into the trap of the story and his wrist was gripped by Lu Cheng, all his disadvantages disappeared. He didn't have to worry about being hit in the Achilles heel or being hit in the same place, which would break his defense. The story would enter the field of ferocity that Lu Cheng was best at. Moreover, Lu Cheng had the great advantage of gripping Lu Cheng's wrist. The result of such a close-range head-on fight was imaginable. This was the most difficult situation Lu Cheng had ever encountered. Would this be his last scene in the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament? In the stands, when Lu Cheng's punch failed and his wrist was gripped by Wu Shitong, Lao Zheng and the other spectators felt their scalps go numb. They stood up instinctively to see more clearly and involuntarily screamed. The sudden turn of events made Lu Yinglong, Qin Jilin and other disciples of Baiyuan martial arts school dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that Lu Cheng, who had just gained the upper hand, fell into the most dangerous situation in the blink of an eye. When his left hand was gripped, when his fighting range was limited to a small area in front of Wu Shitong, when his opponent was good at golden bell cover, grand steel breaking hand and grand steel throwing hand, the result was foreseeable. The short-haired young man, whose hands glowed with a faint iron color, blurted out, "Golden bell cover." Screams and shouts echoed in the martial arts stadium. Rode to the arena, who had just won the match, was about to watch some matches with Jin Tao, the invincible punch, when he was attracted by the unusual noise. He looked at the stands and then fixed his eyes on a big screen. Lu Cheng. Both Invincible Punch and Road to the Arena had a deep impression of this fighter. Now that he was in a desperate situation, they couldn't help but pay attention to him. Many thoughts flashed through Lu Cheng's mind. Some were panic, some were fear, and some were instinctively struggling. Lu Cheng shook his left hand in an attempt to break free from Wu Shitong's grip. However, Wu Shitong's fingers were as hard as iron. Lu Cheng felt a sharp pain in his wrist as he tried to break free from Wu Shitong's grip. He was only able to break free from Wu Shitong's grasp by about half an arm's length, the length of Wu Shitong's right arm. The Jin Dan in his lower abdomen was like a nebula, but it didn't change at all. If it weren't for the condensation stance, Lu Cheng would have been so flustered that he would have lost the ability to think, and had to rely on his subconscious to resist. At this moment, the rippling lake in his heart suddenly reflected the general picture of Wu Shitong's muscles. This was heard through the contact between the pores and the skin of the wrist that was grabbed. The muscles of Wu Shitong's right arm were pulled a little. The force came from his waist and was transferred to his right leg. Lu Cheng was sensitive enough to notice it. His heart skipped a beat, but he didn't have time to think about it. In his mind, he visualized a silvery white lightning falling from the sky and setting off a prairie fire. Pa! The hot current surged as Lu Cheng kicked out his right foot with explosive force. Just as he was about to move, Wu Shitong's right leg swung out with a whistling sound like a strong whip, making a crisp sound. However, in the blink of an eye, Lu Cheng kicked it in the side with a dull thud. Everything seemed to have been planned. His right arm pulled back, as if he was gathering strength for his left hand. Lu Cheng heard the movement again and instinctively made a judgment. He lowered his waist and sat in his crotch, pushing out his right palm like a cold wind, fast and silent. Bam! When his right palm was halfway there, his opponent's left hand slapped out with a momentum that could break stones. However, Wu Shitong seemed to be cooperating with Lu Cheng. His wrist hit Lu Cheng's right palm, and the force was neutralized. The audience was at a loss. They only felt that Lu Cheng was extremely lucky. Twice in a panic, he made a move in advance and blocked Wu Shitong's fatal attack. Beside the short-haired young man with pale iron-colored hands, an old man with big earlobes praised, "Good." After that, he turned to the short-haired young man and said, "Little Yi, his listening skill is much better than yours." Listening skill? The short-haired young man seemed to understand something. By the time he understood, Lu Cheng had completely calmed down after 2 successful blocks. His heart was like an ice mirror, reflecting the signs of Wu Shitong's every move through their contact. Misfortune may be a blessing in disguise. Being caught by the wrist may not be a bad thing. My left hand can't move, so can your right hand. Furthermore, I can predict your attacks through this kind of contact. It's still unknown who will win. That's right. Without the profound level of meditation and the strength of the condensation stance and the 24 blizzard strikes, it's impossible to have such a level of listening skill. Wu Shitong overreached himself. The old man explained to the short-haired young man with a smile. While the old man was talking, Wu Shitong also felt that the development of the situation was out of his expectations. His opponent seemed to have the help of God, seeing through his every move. He didn't want to give up the advantage of grabbing one of Lu Cheng's hands. He made up his mind and twisted his right hand, intending to break Lu Cheng's wrist. Even if he couldn't succeed, he would make Lu Cheng lose focus with pain. When Wu Shidong's right hand moved, Lu Cheng sensed it. His body followed the direction of the twisting to one side, neutralizing most of the momentum and borrowing some strength. With his body half lying in the air, Lu Cheng kicked his right leg high, like a soft whip, aiming at Wu Shidong's left temple. In the body refining and danchi stage, this was the Achilles heel of all hard skills. According to the information collected by Yen Jika, Golden Bell cover was also an example. Wu Shitong didn't dare to be careless. He lowered his waist and raised his left elbow to his ear, blocking Lu Cheng's kick with a bang. While he was about to counterattack, Lu Cheng pulled back his left arm. With the help of Wu Shitong's subconscious pulling force, Lu Cheng adjusted his center of gravity and regained his balance. Then he moved forward and closed the distance between them. With the help of the borrowed force, he raised his left knee and hit Wu Shitong's crotch hard. I don't believe you can reach this level with your current level of thwart training. Wu Shitong's expression changed slightly. He didn't have time to kick back, so he could only step forward with his right foot and block Lu Cheng's fatal hit with his thigh. After the rebound, Lu Cheng adjusted his center of gravity and borrowed strength. In his mind, the ancient snow mountains suddenly collapsed. Rolling white streams poured down with the momentum to engulf everything, turning into a fist and hitting Wu Shidong's temple again. 24 blizzard strikes, mega avalanche. Wu Shitong hurriedly raised his left arm and raised it to his temple. Bam! His left arm was shaken by Lu Cheng's hit. After several times of borrowing strength, the power of both sides was reversed again, and Wu Shitong changed his move in a hurry. In the stands, Lu Yinglong, Qin Jilin, and other disciples of the martial arts club were speechless, let alone Lao Zheng, the young couple, and other spectators. They were silent and confused. They didn't understand how Lu Cheng, who was in a desperate situation, could gain the upper hand and suppress Wu Shitong. This change was beyond their understanding of martial arts. Wonderful. Road to the arena, and Invincible Punch, clapped subconsciously. The battle of listening skill was thrilling. 24 blizzard strikes was indeed a martial art based on listening skill. The more one fought, the fiercer and crazier it became. To achieve this level of listening skill, Lu Cheng's meditation skill was much better than expected. Otherwise, the Daxing Temple disciple would never give him such a chance. After the block, Lu Cheng used the rebounding force to pull back his left arm. Under Wu Shitong's tight grip, Lu Cheng used the strength to gain the upper hand and the pain in his wrist to make his enemy lose his center of gravity and stumble forward. While Wu Shitong was stumbling, Lu Cheng took a step forward and pushed his left hand in the direction of Wu Shitong. His right fist carried the momentum of an avalanche and hit Wu Shitong's temple again. Wu Shitong hadn't recovered his center of gravity, so he couldn't exert force. He could only defend and hurriedly raised his arm to protect his vital parts. In Lu Cheng's mind, the momentum of the avalanche reached its peak. Hundreds of thousands of tons of snow fell down, covering the vast expanse of white. Bam! His punch made Wu Shitong's arm rebound and hit his temple. Bam! In an instant, Wu Shitong felt as if there was a golden drum in his head and his ears were buzzing. His vision was slightly blurred and he couldn't help but loosen his right hand. Lu Cheng grabbed Wu Shitong's arm with his left hand and turned his body. He used all his strength to throw Wu Shitong to the ground. Thump! Wu Shitong's strong body was thrown to the ground, and he was dizzy. Lu Cheng didn't want to let him go. He took a step forward, lifted his toes, and hovered beside Wu Shitong's temple, ready to strike. Round 6, Lu Cheng wins. The referee took a look and announced loudly. Good. Good fight. At this moment, most of the spectators in the stands came to their senses and realized that Lu Cheng had turned the situation around with an incredible performance. They couldn't help but cheer for this thrilling game with twists and turns. They cheered for Lu Cheng, who was so strong that it made people yearn for him. The cheers were unusually warm. Lu Cheng had mixed feelings. This was an honor that only belonged to him. When his left hand was caught, he thought he was going to lose. He didn't expect that his listening skill could play such a big role. Only in a small space can you show your ability. And in a battle, calmness is so important. This is the biggest reward of today. He put down his right foot and reached out his hand to pull Wu Shitong up. He smiled and said, "You let me win." Lu Cheng wanted to brag and say, "You did a good job to put me in a desperate situation for a short time." But he thought it was better to be humble. The cheers and applause continued. Wu Shitong took a deep look at Lu Cheng. "I didn't expect that I couldn't beat you even when I used all my strength." After that, he walked to the stairs and left Lu Cheng with a lonely back. Lu Cheng won the 4th round of elimination. P.S. This chapter should be published earlier. If I wait until the evening, there will be a lot of people cursing me. Okay, I've finished the 2 chapters for today. Please recommend me. Chapter 49. With Wu Shitong's departure, the central ring seemed to have become a kingdom that belonged only to Lu Cheng, letting him receive the cheers and applause alone. The blue stones under his feet reflected the sunlight from the transparent dome and seemed to be dyed with a layer of golden light. Lu Cheng was a little uneasy. He followed the example of the 5 physical and vulnerability mighty ones in the title match and bowed to the 4 sides, which made more enthusiastic applause and cheers. He took a deep breath, turned around and walked to the edge. He took back his coat, mobile phone and personal belongings from the competition supervisor and left along the stone steps. At this moment, his eyes suddenly froze. He saw Yi Yaoting in pink and white martial arts suits standing near the ring, Bai Song who showed extraordinary performance in the previous match, and several professional 9th pin mighty ones he remembered in the past few days. In the stands further away, he also saw Wang Yi, who stayed in the same hotel and was famous in the ring with Iron Palm. Their postures were different, but their eyes were all focused on him. In an instant, Lu Cheng felt a subtle sense of achievement and lingering joy, as if his body was electrified. Did the professional 9th pin mighty ones start to pay attention to his match? Clap clap clap. Yi Yaoting calmly faced Lu Cheng's gaze and applauded, indicating that he fought well. Beside her, Bai Song and the other professional 9th pin mighty ones nodded slightly and indicated. This was the recognition of the mighty ones. They recognized that Lu Cheng was close to their level. Lu Cheng nodded to each of them and walked to the more remote stands. He wanted to share the joy of winning and being recognized with Yenjika first. He walked up the stairs and looked for an empty seat. Suddenly, he heard a call, "Lu Cheng." "Who? Which acquaintance?" Lu Cheng was shocked and stunned. He looked over blankly, but only saw a strange face. This strange face belonged to a young man. He gave a thumbs up and shouted to Lu Cheng, "You fought well." The audience next to him also shouted, "Good job, young man." Good, this is the most exciting match in the past few days." Looking at these unfamiliar faces smiling at him, calling his name with familiarity, and praising his performance, 2 lines from a poem suddenly appeared in his mind. Don't worry about not knowing a bosom friend on the road ahead. Who in the world doesn't know you? In a strange city, thousands of miles away from home, he felt the warmth and joy of returning home. They overflowed bit by bit and echoed in his heart. The sense of accomplishment was much stronger than before. No wonder the Dragon King once said that once you've tasted the joy of victory, you'll never want to experience failure again. The thought flashed through Lu Cheng's mind as he nodded in response. He quickly hid in a corner of the stands with the shyness of a newlywed getting into a sedan chair. He unlocked his phone and logged into QQ. He had intended to tease Yenjika with a dejected look, but the joy in his heart made him unable to restrain himself. He directly sent an emoji of laughing with arms akimbo. "I didn't let the organization down." Yenjika quickly replied with an emoji of a monkey beating its chest complacently. Not bad. But I have a question. Who is the organization?" The name of the organization is Yenjika. Fortunately, you lent me your wisdom and character. I almost lost. Lu Qing replied with an emoji of a naughty smile. Yenjika sent an emoji of a fist clenching and cheering. It's good that you know. Was the competition thrilling? She was very interested in Lu Cheng's martial arts competition. This made Lu Qing involuntarily recall the words of the Casanova, Kai Xiaoming. When chatting with a girl, it was necessary to cater to her interests. Fortunately, he and Yenjika had the greatest common interest in martial arts. Although Wu Shitong is 1 year younger than us, he is very shrewd. He took advantage of the fact that I didn't know much about his martial arts and deliberately pretended that he only knew the Grand Steel Smashing Hand and Grand Steel Opening Hand. He kept it up for a long time. Even though I was in a passive position, I gradually lost my vigilance. When I seized an opportunity and hit his chest, I found that his basic martial arts was the Golden Bell Shield. He took advantage of this well-planned trap and caught my wrist. Lu Qing briefly described the scene that was still fresh in his memory. Yenjika sent an emoji of a shocked monkey and said, "You scared me to death. If I didn't know that you had one, I would never have thought that you could make a comeback in this situation." The girl's surprise multiplied Lu Cheng's sense of achievement. Fortunately, I'm good at meditation and have mastered the condensation stance. After he grabbed my wrist, I was able to hear him more clearly through the contact. I was always able to predict his movements and block or attack his weak points in advance. Gradually, I gained the upper hand. Your listening skill is so strong. Yenjika sent an emoji of a shocked onion head. But before Lu Qing replied, she said, "I just checked the official website. There is a video of your competition on it. Let me watch it first and then we can talk later." The exciting competition in the central ring would undoubtedly be valued by the organizer. Remember to save it after you watch it. Send it to me when I go back to the hotel. Lu Qing replied with a smile. He looked at the central ring and began to watch the next match. He observed and analyzed the moves of both sides and simulated his own responses. After a while, he received a QQ message from Yenjika. She sent an emoji of a cute face that kept eating snacks. Even though I heard you say it first, I was still so nervous when I watched it. Fortunately, you are good at listening skill. Otherwise, would have lost for sure. Qing, you have become so strong all of a sudden. At the end of the listening skill hand-to-hand battle, I felt that you were not worse than my cousin in this aspect. The listening skill mainly depends on the degree of meditation and the condensation stance. I have talent in this aspect. Coach sure said you have it too. Lu Qing took the opportunity to praise her indirectly. Yenjika sent an emoji of a nodding head. I heard that when the condensation stance and meditation are mastered, it is one of the unique skills of the ice sect, the enemy heart freezing move. It can effectively resist negative emotions, reflect the movements of the surroundings and analyze the flaws of the opponent's moves. You speak so casually. Did you just search for it? Lu Qing sent an emoji of a snicker. Yenjika replied with a shocked emoji, "Don't expose me." They talked and laughed for a while. Yenjika sent an emoji of a laughing face covering its mouth. I'm going out. Going out for dinner? Lu Qing planned to watch the last match of the central ring before leaving the martial arts arena to fill his stomach and wait for the fifth and final round of the knockout match in the afternoon. No, I'm going back to the ancestral home to accompany my grandma to get rice cakes. She always thinks that the ones sold outside are better than those at home, so we'll eat something on the way. Yenjika sent an emoji of a monkey wagging its tail and acting cute. Get rice cakes. Lu Qing replied with an emoji of dizzy eyes. He had only seen rice cakes in supermarkets and restaurants outside occasionally. It's a New Year custom in many places here. It's not in Shushan. I know you don't know. Yenjika sent an emoji of a monkey. Lu Qing sent an emoji of a blushing face. The New Year custom in Shushan is to make glutinous rice cakes and bacon sausages. By the way, you seem to have used a new emoji pack today? Hee hee, every time I see a cute or funny emoji, I download or save it. I feel like I'm cute when I use it. Yenjika replied with an emoji of a monkey clapping its hands and laughing. They chatted casually. After watching the match, Lu Qing went to a nearby restaurant to eat a cheap meal. Then he returned to the martial arts arena and waited for the match list of the 5th knockout match to come out at 1:30 p.m. I have to practice martial arts in the afternoon, so I won't know the result of your match immediately. Yenjika sent a pitiful emoji. Don't worry. There are 2 matches today. With my endurance, as long as I don't meet a professional 9th pin fighter, I'll definitely win. Lu Qing boasted. Yenjika replied with an emoji of a laughing face. But my intuition tells me that you may not get a bye this round. When it comes to the group stage, the match time can be arranged today, right? I can set the time of the martial arts practice in advance in the morning or in the afternoon. Then I won't say anything more. I don't want my bad character to affect your prediction. Lu Qing found an excuse for Yenjika's failure. Time passed by. At 1:30 p.m., a new match list rolled out on the big screen. It started at 2:30 p.m. and ended at 5 p.m. This time there were 3 rings. Lu Qing looked for his name and number and waited until he reached the end of the list. Number 656 Lu Qing, a bye this round, a bye this round? Lu Qing stood up in surprise. He immediately took a picture of Yenjika and sent it to her. Thank you, Fairy Yen, for being so straight and honest. I've entered the group stage. Yenjika replied with an emoji of a monkey setting off firecrackers. Say it. How can you repay me? Devote myself to you. Lu Qing replied silently. He sent an emoji of a red face and a smile. I owe you a meal before. It doesn't seem sincere to treat you to another meal. That's right. Yenjika sent an emoji of a little monster nodding its head. Lu Qing thanked God, Earth, and Fate for giving him this chance. He immediately typed on the screen keyboard and said, how about I treat you to a tour of Songcheng and look for local delicacies? Do you have time? I still have special training next semester. Yenjika sent an emoji of a question mark above its head. Lu Qing sensed her hesitation and deliberately changed the topic. Let's set it like this first. We'll see when the time comes. How about I show more sincerity and bring you Shushan delicacies when school starts? You don't want to go back during the winter vacation. You must miss it a lot, right? Yes, yes. I miss it so much. I want to eat all over the city during the summer vacation. Yenjika sent an emoji with shining eyes and then added a sighing emoji. But I want to eat the braised quail eggs next to Xinhua bookstore, the grilled eggplant of Old Lu barbecue, the steamed beef pancake at the back door of the school, the glutinous rice cake of Wang family rice noodles. I can't bring these. Lu Qing looked at her with a smile and changed the topic again. He silently recorded all the delicacies Yenjika mentioned in his phone memo. When it was almost 2:00, Yenjika went to the martial arts field of the ancestral house to practice martial arts. Lu Qing had drawn a bye, so he relaxed and wandered around the field with his hands in his hands. He watched the competition in a leisurely manner and recorded some highlights from time to time, planning to share them with Yenjika in the evening. During the break, he occasionally reviewed what had happened in the past few days. He felt like he was in a dream. It was much better than what he had expected before he left. I really made it to the group stage. Chapter 50. Lu Qing wanted to call his master to tell him the good news and report his progress in martial arts. But after thinking about it, he decided to wait until all his matches were over. At that time, he could ask his master for advice with the lessons he had learned. While watching the matches, he was still like a sponge, eagerly absorbing the essence of other people's martial arts and fighting experience. At the same time, he was leisurely browsing the forum during the conversation and rest time. In the live broadcast post on the Longhu Club forum, Invincible Punch posted a link to the video of Lu Cheng's match in the morning. With a long sigh emoji, he said, I feel more and more like I don't understand him. The listening skill he displayed today is simply beyond my reach. Lu Qing felt another wave of sour satisfaction. He scrolled down to read other replies. For a low-level competition like the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament, once there were no forum members acting as bait, no one would be interested or have the energy to pay attention to it. The link to the video had been posted for more than 3 hours, and only a few people had seen it and made comments. Most of them just casually added water, changed the topic, or made fun of the invincible punch that had been exposed. A plumber eating mushroom was one of the forum members who rarely watched the video seriously. He replied, "His listening skill is really good. I've seen many professional 9th pin fighters. Only 1 or 2 of the direct disciples of the big sects can reach this level. If he can make up for his shortcomings, he'll definitely pass the ranking event and enter the ranks of professional 9th pin in at most 1 year, at least half a year. Thanks for the compliment." Lu Qing tried hard not to smile. Songqing University Martial Arts Club's match is worth looking forward to. It's just that there are 2 big mountains in their division, Shanbei and Sanjiang. Unless these 2 martial arts clubs meet in advance, they have no hope of entering the national competition. Unparalleled Dragon King also agreed. Pig Riding Knight, the moderator of the forum, also commented, "Hee, maybe we've seen the first appearance of a future mighty one with physical invulnerability." Brahman, who had just finished her exams and was on holiday, replied with a starry-eyed emoji, "That was so cool. I'm even hesitating whether to ask Uncle Arena for an autograph. Maybe what Uncle Pig Riding Knight said is true. This first autograph will have a special meaning in the future." Don't. I can't bring myself to do that. Besides, it's not that easy to achieve physical invulnerability. Peng Liyun and Ren Li both stepped into the Danqi state when they were 18 years old, which is a professional 8th pin. Not to mention the monk from Daxing Temple who is said to be the reincarnation of the living Buddha. Road to the Arena dispelled Brahman's delusion without hesitation. Peng Liyun. Ren Li. Lu Qing had heard and seen these 2 names over and over again since he started participating in the university martial arts competition. It was a pity that Songqing University Martial Arts Club was defeated by Su Wanyan this year, so he didn't have the chance to see Peng Liyun's skills in person. After reading the replies, Lu Qing continued to focus on the match. By the 5th round, strong opponents could be seen everywhere. There were even 4 professional 9th pin experts who met each other before the group stage. Sparks flew in all directions, which was very satisfying for the spectators. Lu Qing also learned a lot from this. His mind was full of their fighting scenes, and his heart was full of blood. He couldn't wait to find a secluded place to practice his martial arts. Unfortunately, after this round, there would be a group stage drawing ceremony and corresponding activities. The players who had the bye couldn't leave, so he had to hold back his temper and continue to watch and learn from others. In the end, Lu Qing also watched the match of Road to the Arena. He and the fighter of amateur 1st pin were locked in a fight and won by the explosive move of Wuthering 8 movements. However, it could be found that the unfamiliarity of Road to the Arena had disappeared, and the force was no longer awkward. He had recovered to 70% or 80% of his peak level. The only problem was that his physical strength was still there, which was exposed after 2 matches in 1 day. Otherwise, the later part of the battle would not have been so anxious. At about 4:50, the 5th round of matches came to an end. The top 32 fighters of this year's Warrior Sage Challenge Tournament were all determined. They were the most outstanding 32 fighters among the 800 or 900 contestants, and Lu Qing was among them. The less than 5% ratio made Lu Qing feel very proud. Although he had the luck of a bye and the endurance provided by the Jin Dan, what was more important was that he had improved his martial arts step by step. It was a rebirth of his mentality and strength. The staff was busy setting up the central arena, setting up a table and several lottery boxes. They invited the host and singers and dancers to liven up the atmosphere. After a while, the host invited the guests to draw lots. There were 3 of them in total. One was the mayor of Yanling, one was the president of Yanling Martial Arts Association, who used to be a professional 4th pin mighty one, and one was Lu Zunyu, the chairman of Yenyu Group, the organizer of this competition. He was an outer sect disciple of the top force Kongtong school, and also a martial arts fanatic. Most of his industries were inextricably linked with Kongtong school, spanning the fields of medicine, security, real estate, and so on. According to the rules of the Warrior Sage Challenge Tournament, first of all, the 8 seeded fighters would be determined according to the comprehensive evaluation of their ranks and performances in previous matches. This was to prevent the strongest fighters from fighting in advance and overshadowing the rest of the top 16, top 8 and top 4 matches. Without much doubt, Huang Zhenzhong and Jiang Lan, 2 masters of professional 8th pin in the Danqi realm, along with Yi Yaoding, Bai Song, Wang Yi and other outstanding fighters of professional 9th pin, became the seeded players. The audience applauded to show their approval. Then, the mayor began to draw lots. He first drew people, then groups, to determine which group they would be in. Huang Zhenzhong, the 2nd group, Jiang Lan, the 5th group, Yi Yaoding, the 3rd group, Bai Song, the 8th group, Wang Yi, the 4th group, Li Xiaoyuan, the 6th group. As the names were announced one by one, the big screens began to roll the highlights of the 8 fighters' matches, so that the audience could quickly understand and increase their interest. Lu Qing couldn't take his eyes off her and gasped in amazement. He even recorded some of the highlights with his mobile phone. After a passionate song and dance, the president of Yanling Martial Arts Association came to the drawing box with the names of the remaining professional 9th pin fighters. He also drew lots first, then groups. There were only 6 professional 9th pin fighters left. That was to say, there would be 2 weak groups, and the amateur fighters could compete for the top 16 places. Lu Qing didn't care about it. He leisurely and calmly listened to the announcements of the president of Yanling Martial Arts Association one by one. Gu Jiajia, the 3rd group, Qi Fei, the 6th group, Zhi Yuaning, the 4th group. As the remaining 6 fighters of professional 9th pin were drawn, the 1st group and the 7th group became the weak group. Every amateur fighter was praying that they could draw the best lot. Lu Cheng was also a little nervous. He didn't expect to be in the top 16 and get the prize money. But now that he was in the group stage, how could he not dream? Maybe he would get lucky? The African, black hand, and the European, white hand, were different. That 5,000 renminbi reward was too tempting for him. He was like a beggar who had been starving for days smelling the aroma of meat. His eyes shone with a green light. Although he still had his personal savings, this 5,000 renminbi would be used as a dating fund in case of emergency. The president of Yanling Martial Arts Association drew 2 fighters from the last drawing box. One of them was of amateur 1st pin, and the other was of amateur 2nd pin. They entered the 1st and the 7th group respectively. When the result came out, Lu Qing even heard people cheering in a low voice nearby. He was a little disappointed. Then there was another song and dance for the audience to enjoy the highlights of the 2nd group of 8 fighters. Lu Qing watched carefully, thinking that they were likely to be his opponents. The last round of drawing lots began. Lu Zunyu, the president of Yenyu Group, made a speech first, and then put his hand into the drawing box. Lu Cheng's heart was a little bit nervous. He felt more nervous than the battle. Number 656, Lu Cheng. Lu Zunyu read the first fighter he drew. Because the number was less than the fighters of professional 9th pin, the audience would be more familiar with him, so he added a number. Thump, thump, thump. Lu Cheng's heart beat faster. He didn't expect to be the first one. Which group would he be in? When his name was read out, there was a burst of warm applause from the stands. He got the same treatment as the fighters of professional 9th pin. Lu Zunyu smiled and was very satisfied with the audience's reaction. He reached out to draw a group from another box. The 4th group. The 4th group? Iron Palm Youth Wang Yi, with his hands flat on his knees, raised his eyebrows. Rode to the arena, Zhou Yuaning's face became more dignified. The 4th group? Lu Cheng was stunned and couldn't believe his ears. Enemies are bound to meet, isn't it? I'm going to meet a friend of the forum again. And another fighter is staying in the same hotel with me. It's really a group of fate! The result of the draw made him feel surprised and slightly happy. Although it was not as good as the first and seventh, it was a medium choice. Among the fighters of professional ninth pin, Road to the Arena was the weakest one. Invincible Punch looked at Road to the Arena worriedly. Master Road, Lu Cheng is not easy to deal with. I know. I'll pay more attention to him. Road to the Arena, Zhou Yuaning stretched his fist. After that, he saw that Invincible Punch was still dignified and full of worry. He chuckled and said, "Don't worry. As long as I pay attention, Lu Cheng will not be my opponent." On the other side, Lu Cheng resisted the urge to laugh and send a message to Yenjika, waiting for the last fighter of the fourth group to draw. He didn't want to be too complacent. Fighters were drawn one by one, filling each group. After a long time, Lu Cheng finally heard the words, "the fourth group." Number 245, Tang Yu. Lu Cheng read the name of the fourth fighter and carefully watched the match highlights and introductions of each fighter on the big screen. Well, it's a master of amateur first pin. He murmured and put away his joy. He felt that it was quite difficult to stand out in this group. A little carelessness would make others take advantage of him. For example, he and Road to the Arena had both suffered losses. Of course, it was much better than the other 5 groups. After recording the match videos of Tang Yu, Zhou Yuaning, and Wang Yi, Lu Cheng sent a message to Yan Jika with a snickering emoji. Your luck is still shining. I've drawn a relatively weak group of professional ninth pin, amateur first pin and a professional ninth pin fighter who hasn't fought for several years. After that, he went to the service desk to ask for more detailed information of the 3 fighters and the follow-up schedule. He found that he would fight with Wang Yi tomorrow afternoon, Tang Yu the day after tomorrow morning, and Road to the Arena Zhou Yuaning the day after tomorrow afternoon. Lu Cheng, come on. We all think you can enter the top 16. Several girls at the service desk made cheering gestures. Lu Cheng smiled and said gently, I'll try not to let you down. Yes, he had come this far. As a fighter, how could he easily admit defeat? Chapter 51. After getting the detailed information, Lu Cheng followed the guidance of the staff and came to a small meeting room in the martial arts arena. Huang Zhenzhong, Yi Yaoding, Wang Yi, Zhou Yuaning, and the other 32 fighters were already seated. According to the rules of the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament, everyone had to sign a contract with the organizer, Yenyu Group. As a newbie, Lu Cheng looked around and habitually slipped to a corner to wait for the organizer. Hey, you fought beautifully with Wu Shitong yesterday. I dream of having that listening skill. As soon as he sat down, the fighter next to him greeted him with a smile. Lu Cheng turned around and his eyes lit up. The fighter who greeted him was not a girl, nor did he look feminine, but he was still stunning. He was about the same age as himself, and there was still a bit of scholarly air about him. His facial features were delicate and handsome, and his temperament was otherworldly. He had shoulder-length hair that gave him the temperament of an artist. At first glance, the words, classical handsome man, automatically appeared in his mind. His second thought was, banished immortal. With this appearance, he was more than qualified to be an idol in the entertainment industry. If Little Ming saw this, his self-esteem would be hurt. Lu Cheng criticized Talker in his mind and replied politely, thank you, thank you. I was just lucky. I dare not be arrogant. There is no luck in listening skill. The classmate shook his head and smiled. By the way, I haven't introduced myself. Hello, Lu Cheng, my name is Li Xiaoyuan. Lu Cheng was a little surprised. So you are Li Xiaoyuan. The highlights of your fight on the big screen just now were very exciting and very elegant. The competition videos were all long shots. Lu Cheng knew who the fighter was from the words in the narration, but couldn't see his face clearly. Until now, Lu Cheng matched the fighter in front of him with his name. He was a seated fighter, a mighty fighter of professional ninth pin. With some effort, my cats and dogs look like martial arts masters. Li Xiaoyuan laughed. Seeing that he was not arrogant and seemed to be easy to get along with, Lu Qing relaxed. He was a little confused. I don't know why, but the name Li Xiaoyuan sounds familiar. Have I seen it in the competition these days? That's your question. How would I know? Li Xiaoyuan smiled mischievously. But we may meet again in the next few years. There's a possibility of meeting again? Lu Cheng was surprised. He didn't understand the reason and put on a standard dumbfounded face. Li Xiaoyuan saw that he had succeeded in keeping him in suspense. He chuckled and said, Songqing University Martial Arts Club has Lin Ke and a strong fighter like you. It's only a matter of time before they enter the national finals. Then we'll meet again, right? Hearing this, Lu Cheng's mind flashed. He finally remembered where he had heard the name Li Xiaoyuan. Unparalleled Dragon King, the humanoid database, once commented on Lin Ke. Among this year's freshmen, Li Xiaoyuan from Guangnan and Fang Zhirong from Shanbei are better than Lin Quebec, because he had only mentioned it once, he had long forgotten about it. Even Road to the Arena and Invincible Punch had no impression of them, so he did not mention them in the live broadcast post. Are you Li Xiaoyuan from Guangnan University? Lu Qing asked. Li Xiaoyuan nodded and said, when I got your information and found out that you were a student of Songqing University, I was really surprised. I've watched several videos of Lin Ke's fights. He's a real fighter. Plus you're an amateur fighter. It makes no sense that you're not in the top 8 of the district competition. This is King embarrassing. Lu Qing felt ashamed and scratched his head subconsciously. I've only made some small achievements recently. After a brief explanation, he quickly changed the topic. Why did you come to participate in the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament? Li Xiaoyuan didn't answer directly. He took out his wallet and took out his ID card. He handed it to Lu Cheng and said, see for yourself. Lu Cheng was at a loss at first. Then he took a closer look and saw the 3 words, Yanling City, clearly written on Li Xiaoyuan's ID card. You're a local. He suddenly realized. Just as he was about to praise Li Xiaoyuan's ID card for not being ugly at all, Lu Zunyu, the chairman of Yanyu Group, and several people in charge of the tournament came in, followed by many bodyguards who were obviously strong fighters. Lu Zunyu said to the head bodyguard, Old Sheng, distribute the contract to everyone. The bodyguard, Old Sheng, was wearing sunglasses. He was of medium height, strong, and silent. When he distributed the contract, Lu Zunyu held his hands together like a martial artist and saluted the fighters as an outer sect disciple of Kong Tong School. Thank you all for coming to participate in the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. Originally, I thought that a contract of good faith was unnecessary. But every country has its own laws and rules. We still have to follow the procedures. I believe that with everyone's moral character and martial arts ethics, you won't deliberately lose the game for gambling. Signing the contract is just a matter of face. Lu Zunyu was very good at talking, so Lu Cheng and the others didn't have any resistance. After that, he gave the rest of the details to the person in charge of the tournament. At this time, the contract was handed to Lu Cheng. As a freshman, he didn't major in law, so he just flipped through it casually and read the key points. The general idea was that if any fighter was found to have participated in gambling related to his own tournament, he would be punished by Jianghu rules instead of the law. The martial arts tournament is a competition of 2 people's personal strength, including from talent to preparation. As long as it's personal and doesn't violate the relevant laws and regulations of the country, we'll allow it. The person in charge of the tournament explained, but if a fighter participates in gambling related to martial arts, he will always be looked down upon by the people in Jianghu. As for the mighty ones with physical invulnerability, they are rich and powerful, so it's hard to buy them off and they can't be coerced. But for a small tournament like ours, we still have to pay attention to it. After all, we want to hold many tournaments, so we can't ruin our reputation in the first one. As for the rules of Jianghu, everyone should know. 3 knives and 6 holes, and martial arts will be abolished. The last 8 words were said a bit coldly. Lu Cheng, who had never participated in such activities, opened his mouth slightly. He didn't expect such a thing, but after thinking carefully, he felt it was reasonable. He felt that he had a bottom line and didn't need to worry about violating it, so he took the pen on the table and prepared to sign. "Aren't you afraid that this is actually a contract to sell yourself?" A faint voice came from the side. "Huh?" Lu Qing put the pen down and turned to look at Li Xiaoyuan, somewhat frightened. Li Xiaoyuan's expression didn't change. He said calmly, "Just kidding." After that, he picked up the pen and signed his name. "Hey, classmate, you should act according to your image. As a banished immortal, don't always make jokes." Lu Qing secretly complained a few times and carefully flipped through the contract before he dared to sign. After finishing this process, the 32 fighters left separately. Lu Qing didn't have the time to check the live broadcast posts on the forum to see how Road to the Arena and Invincible Punch mentioned encountering his old enemy again. He hurriedly finished his dinner and rushed back to the hotel. He turned on his computer and searched for videos related to Iron Palm, Wuthering 8 movements and other martial arts. Even if he would lose in the end, he would lose beautifully. After a while, his phone beeped. It was Yenjika's reply. She sent an emoji of a monkey beating its chest and cheering, "Not bad. Now you know what it means to have an invincible character. You didn't even win one more bottle." Lu Cheng's tense mood instantly recovered. "I feel that I have to think about how to repay you again." Hey, it's not urgent. I don't know how to repay you at the moment. Let me think about it." Yenjika replied. Lu Cheng was a little disappointed and told her about his encounter with Guangnan Li Xiaoyuan in the afternoon. In the end, he said, Guangnan University is indeed an old school with a strong martial arts atmosphere. Yeah, they entered the national final this year by winning first place in the district competition. Yenjika sent a sighing emoji. Lu Cheng didn't know how to continue, so he said, "I'm watching the competition video of Wang Yi, my opponent tomorrow, a professional 9th pin fighter who lives in the same hotel." Yenjika asked, "What kind of martial arts is he good at?" "Iron Palm." "I watched it. In the previous competition, someone defended with his arm, but his arm was broken by his palm." Lu Cheng sent an emoji of, "I'm so scared that I hid behind the door." Yenjika sent a surprised emoji. "Then how do you defend?" "His attack is too horrible. Normally speaking, because of the characteristics of the body, the concentration of force, and the hammering practice, the hands, arms, legs, and feet were all used to defend the opponent's attack. Now, even though weapons could be broken by the opponent, how could he defend? Anyway, I don't want to win. I'm considering whether to always hit the wrist sideways to avoid the sharp edge to defend, or to keep wandering, avoiding direct contact and looking for an opportunity." Lu Cheng told her his plan. The former requires the ability to judge moves and experience. Most of the time, you need to touch to grasp the listening skill, right? Yenjika expressed her opinion. Lu Cheng sent a nodding emoji. "I'm also inclined to the latter method. Once there was contact, it was very likely that the defense would be broken. Well, if you want to enter the top 16, the focus is not on the Iron Palm, but on the other two. By the way, how do you know that professional 9th pin fighter has been absent for many years?" Yenjika asked. "Because I know him. He's a friend in the forum of Longhu Club." Lu Cheng answered honestly. Yenjika sent a covering mouth emoji. "What a coincidence. In ancient times, you could even become sworn brothers. What kind of martial arts is he good at?" "Wuthering 8 movements." Lu Cheng answered. Yenjika said, "Wuthering 8 movements? It just so happens that I know something. Indefinite wind and unruly wind are footwork and dodging techniques. Shapeless wind and leakless wind are fighting techniques similar to the chilling to the bone of the 24 blizzard strikes. Howling wind and raging wind are similar to the brutal blizzard, but they don't require much listening skill. Tornado wind is a killing move, and horrifying hurricane is an explosive move. She talked about her understanding of Wuthering 8 movements. Lu Cheng had a deeper understanding of it after watching the video just now. There's another fighter who's good at the shape of divine elephant. His leg skills and strength are very strong. While talking about Tang Yu, Lu Cheng couldn't help but ask about his feelings during the chat just now. You don't seem to be in a good mood now. You don't even use emojis. Yenjika sent a pitiful emoji. Well, I'm not feeling well. My stomach hurts. Stomach hurts? Is there anyone at home? Let them take you to the hospital. You can't take medicine or force yourself to bear it. Lu Cheng was anxious at once. He seemed to empathize with her. Yenjika was silent for dozens of seconds and sent 2 words. Idiot, ah. Lu Cheng was confused. Why am I an idiot? Why am I an idiot if I care about your health? Yenjika sent an emoji of squatting in the corner and drawing circles. It's no use to go to the hospital. It's, Lu Cheng finally understood, and his old face immediately turned red. I'm a big idiot. Chapter 52. Lu Cheng's heart ached for the girl's pain, but he was thousands of miles away and couldn't do anything. He wanted to comfort her, but he didn't know how to express it. After all, it was a private topic, so he was a little anxious, like a beast trapped in a small room, unable to find an exit. At this moment, he had a flash of inspiration. He quickly logged out of QQ and logged into the computer, sending an emoji of smashing its own head with a brick. I really didn't expect this. I've never come into contact with such things before. I've only seen it in health textbooks, some miscellaneous books, and some discussions. After sending this message, he opened his phone and dialed Kai Zhongming's number, asking for talkers outside guidance. Beep, beep, beep. When Yenjika's reply appeared, Kai Zhongming also picked up the phone. Hello, Cheng. Talker, I have something to ask you. Lu Cheng went straight to the point without any pleasantries. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on the computer screen, seeing Yenjika's sneering emoji. It would be strange if you were familiar with it. Lu Cheng held the phone in one hand and typed with one finger with the other. He asked casually, are girls especially in pain at this time? On the phone, Kai Zhongming sneered. What happened? You asked me in such a hurry, it must have something to do with your goddess. Good thing you didn't call me in the middle of the night, or I'll strangle you. Haha. Lu Cheng laughed dryly. Let me ask you, when a girl is not feeling well and it's not too serious, how should I express my concern? Yenjika's thing was a private matter, so it couldn't be told to other men. At this time, Yenjika replied, it depends on the person's physique. Some people are in so much pain that it lasts for a few days before it weakens. Some people feel nothing and can continue to drink cold drinks. For me, it was very painful on the first day, but I was fine on the second day. Lu Cheng typed again with his finger and was about to say that if it was very painful, drinking hot water could relieve the pain. Hey, how to express concern in this situation varies from person to person, but there's one thing that can't be said, that is, don't let a girl drink hot water. Kai Zhongming's tone was full of interest. Lu Cheng stopped typing and deleted all the content he had typed. He added, I'm still too naive to think that it's the same. While typing, he asked in bewilderment, why can't I say drink hot water? I think it's quite effective. Besides, she's spending the new year in Jiangnan province, which is more than 1,000 kilometers away from me. I have no other choice. There are actually many answers to this question on the internet, but I don't think they are enough to get to the essence. Since we are friends, I'll teach you the Kai family's insights for free. Kai Zhongming pretended to be a good teacher. The essence of drinking hot water is how attentive you are. That is to say, girls don't look at what you say, what you answer, or what you do. Instead, they look at how attentive you are, how serious you are, and how concerned you are. That is the crux of the problem. Lu Cheng was perplexed. Say it more clearly. I don't quite understand. At this time, Yenjika replied, you've never had a female deskmate feel uncomfortable in high school? Everyone feels uncomfortable sometimes. Lu Cheng sent an innocent emoji and didn't have the ability to type more words. At the other end of the phone, Kai Zongming explained, think about it. How long did you spend thinking and how much energy did you use to say the words drink hot water? It happened in the blink of an eye. I almost said it when I thought of it. Lu Cheng seemed to understand. Kai Zongming laughed and said, fortunately, you called me in time. You see, caring about a girl by drinking hot water doesn't even cost you a few brain cells. It doesn't even waste your time. Don't you think it's too perfunctory? Isn't it because you're not attentive enough? Got it. Lu Cheng suddenly understood. Kai Zongming clicked his tongue and said, you're worth teaching. So, even if you spend some brain cells to find a joke to tell a girl to divert her attention, it's still better than saying, drink hot water. Whether she laughs or not is another matter. At least she can see that you're trying to find something and not just saying perfunctory words. Since you understand the essence, isn't it easy to care about her? What's important is not what you say or do, but showing your attentiveness and attention in the process. For example, what is the most attentiveness and attention? Book a plane ticket immediately, spend a night flying there, and show up at her door early the next morning. If her condition is not better, take her to the hospital and take care of her. If her condition is better, bring her some of her favorite breakfast and cook for her in the kitchen. Of course, if you don't have a certain degree of relationship, you have to be careful when you use it. If she has no money, you have to be even more careful when you use it. Damn, Casanova, listening to your words is better than 10 years of books. Lu Cheng listened carefully and praised while looking at the content on the computer screen. Yenjika replied, are you guys all so slow? When I was in number 1 middle school, there was a girl in my class who had her period. Her face was very pale, but her deskmate didn't notice it at all. He even wanted her to continue bringing breakfast for him. I always bring breakfast for people. Lu Cheng typed one letter after another. Hearing his praise, Kai Zongming snorted and said, I've already taught you the essence of the mental cultivation method of the Kai family. As for how to use it, it depends on your comprehension. That's all I can help you with. Lu Cheng sincerely shouted, hey! Talker! You're my idol. Get lost. Don't think you can get away with such a praise. Treat me to a big meal when school starts. Kai Zongming said fiercely and hung up the phone. Putting down the phone, Lu Cheng saw that Yenjika had not replied. He realized that the content he sent while talking on the phone and chatting on QQ seemed to be a little perfunctory. He immediately added, after hearing what you said, I seem to understand one thing. It's a problem that has been bothering me for a long time. This was indeed an inspiration from the content on Yenjika's previous post. However, there were too many words and it was not suitable for a finger gesture. What's the matter? Yenjika replied with a puzzled emoji. Lu Cheng sent a shocked emoji and said, once, my deskmate seemed to be very uncomfortable. She asked for sick leave and went home after class. The girl behind me helped her and tied her own clothes around her waist. I was puzzled at that time. I said that my deskmate was cold and needed clothes to keep her warm. Why did she tie the clothes around her waist and hang down to her thighs? What's the use of it? When the girl behind me came back from sending her off, I asked her about it. She just rolled her eyes at me. I didn't understand until today. So it was that. The clothes were to cover the traces. It should be like what the advertisement said, penetrating. Huh, it's good that I didn't scold you. Yenjika replied. Lu Cheng saw that his topic seemed to cheer her up a little and became more confident. He asked according to Little Ming's theory, is your stomach still very painful? Yes. Yenjika answered briefly. Lu Cheng sent a smiling emoji and said, I know a way to help you relieve the pain. What's the way? Yenjika sent a surprised emoji. Lu Qing replied, the great diversion method. As long as you don't think about the stomachache, you won't feel too bad. Although I don't think it will work very well, let's give it a try. Who knows? What are you going to use to divert my attention? Yenjika sent a pitiful emoji. Lu Qing thought for a while and said, I'll sacrifice myself and tell you my embarrassing story. Huh, how embarrassing. Yenjika sent an emoji of a cute cat waiting for food. At the beginning of September, when the military training was held, those who performed well in formation and marching would participate in the final report performance, right? Little Ming deliberately walked very badly. After being punished by the instructor several times, he still didn't get better. As a junior, he was kicked out of the performance team and began to take on the heavy responsibility of carrying food, washing pots and sweeping the floor. He didn't need to train and could hide in the shade of a tree to have a rest. After that, I was led astray by him. When the instructor was selecting people, I deliberately walked poorly and failed to be selected. Then I joined the logistics team. Lu Qing typed one sentence after another so as not to distract Yenjika's attention from the stomachache again if the interval between typing was too long. And then? This will only make people envious, not embarrassing. Yenjika asked. Lu Qing sent a sad face emoji. After a few days of happy days, the instructor gathered us together and took us to another toilet. He said there were too many classes living in this camp and it was dirty inside. Those who didn't participate in the report performance had to work harder and do more cleaning. Little Ming and I went in and almost vomited. Yenjika sent a laughing emoji. That's for being lazy. Now you know what retribution is. Lu Qing replied with a crying emoji. When we came out to take a few breaths of fresh air, the instructor said proudly that the quality of the students in Songqing University was good, unlike the students in the previous school who thought the toilets were dirty and settled in the ponds and bushes behind. I asked them to pick up and sweep the floor by themselves. Before he finished, Little Ming and I really vomited. Luckily, we didn't vomit. So disgusting. We girls took turns to carry food and sweep the floor. We paid more attention. Fortunately. Yenjika sent an emoji with blinking eyes. It seems to be useful to divert attention. Any other embarrassing stories? Lu Qing racked his brains and picked out the embarrassing moments from his childhood that didn't affect his image. He told her one by one, which made Yenjika very interested and happy. She seemed to have forgotten part of her pain. Qing, any more? Yenjika was like Lu Qing, who always listened to his mother's stories when he was a child. Lu Qing's mind went blank. He felt that he had said all he could. After thinking hard again, he said, no more. Shall we use other ways to divert attention? Yenjika sent a smiling emoji. My stomach doesn't hurt that much. I can try to sleep. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a good man again. Qing, can you sing? Sing me a song. I'll fall asleep listening to it. This was a rare request from Yenjika. Lu Qing said without hesitation, yes. Although it's not very nice, at least it's not out of tune. Which one do you want to listen to? After sending the message, he logged out of QQ and logged in with his mobile phone. You choose. Yenjika sent a sneering emoji. Lu Qing thought for a while and opened the voice message. He blurted out, twinkle twinkle little star, the sky is full of little stars. Haha, you're so funny. Go on. Yenjika replied with a voice message. She was obviously in a good mood. Stars in the sky. Lu Qing suddenly changed the melody. Join the Big Dipper. Pfft. Yenjika sent a, I'm dying of laughter, emoji. The song echoed in the room one after another. After a long time, Yenjika said, Qing, I'm very happy today. Good night, see you tomorrow. Lu Qing said with a smile and sent a voice message. Yenjika replied with a voice message. She said in a joking and commercial tone, Big baby, see you every day. Even if this wasn't enough to explain much, Lu Cheng was still very happy. A smile filled his face. Hee hee, see you every day. Right, what's today's date? I'll write it down in my little notebook. This is the key information. After Yenjika fell asleep, he laughed for a long time and suddenly came to himself. Damn! There's a competition tomorrow. I still have a lot of martial arts videos to watch. Chapter 53. Lu Cheng found a bunch of videos and combined them with the information. He watched them intently, dissecting, analyzing and reorganizing them in his mind. Half an hour later, he shook his head tiredly and tapped on the table, muttering to himself, there are too many videos. It's impossible to watch them all. But I don't know which ones are the most important and representative. The listening skill required one to meditate and be absolutely focused. It consumed a lot of mental energy and wasn't something the Jin Dan could make up for. Therefore, after the fight with Wu Shitong, Lu Cheng, who had been racking his brains to chat, felt sleepy. While in a dilemma, he suddenly had an idea. He opened the favorites folder and entered the forum of Longhu Club. Road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning would definitely do the same if he were to look for his opponent's battle videos. With so much relevant content available, he was very likely to ask for help from the humanoid database, Unparalleled Dragon King, for his opinion. Zhou Yuaning could secretly learn from him. In the live broadcast post of the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament, when Invincible Punch announced that Lu Cheng was one of the opponents of Road to the Arena, in the group stage, the viewers who were not interested in his match videos before were filled with the desire to participate. Master Road, it's time to wash away the shame of our forum. Don't be a hooligan, sent an emoji with a red scarf around its head. Beautiful World replied that Lu Cheng dared to bully our little fist. Now it's time for him to pay for what he did. Outspoken also said, I was very upset when I saw Lu Cheng win against Woody. Master Road, you have to teach him a lesson. Uncle Road to the Arena, can I take a picture with my new idol before the fight? I can't see his face in the previous fight highlights. Brahman said excitedly. The moderator, Pig Riding Knight, sent an emoji knocking on the head again. You little guy, how dare you side with an outsider? Pig Riding Uncle, I didn't. You wronged me. Look at my wronged eyes. I just want to take a picture with Uncle Road to the Arena. I still support him to win. My new idol is not as good as a professional 9th pin fighter. Brahman sent a crying emoji. I'm also a member of the forum. I can't be biased. Lu Cheng wiped his bitter tears and browsed through the many replies supporting Road to the Arena to defeat him. He saw the suggestion offered by Unparalleled Dragon King at the end. Master Road, I've browsed through the Warrior Sage Challenge Tournament's official website and found that Wang Yi from your group is very strong. His iron palm can be said to be unstoppable. Among the professional 9th pin fighters, he's not an ordinary one. I have a few related videos here. Take a look, you should learn something. Road to the Arena immediately sent a handshake emoji. Old Dragon, I was just about to ask you about this. Damn it, the people upstairs are just a bunch of big water brushes. You can't expect them to come up with a plan. Hee hee, I'm also waiting. Lu Cheng opened the videos one by one. He paused and buffered them first before continuing to watch the discussions that followed. Unparalleled Dragon King said with a funny expression, I'm just an armchair strategist. I don't have as much combat experience as you, Master Road, but I can still help you find information. Old Dragon, what do you think about my chances of winning against Wang Yi? Road to the Arena hadn't participated in a competition for many years. After suddenly encountering a strong opponent of professional 9th pin, he seemed to be a little nervous. According to Lu Cheng's judgment, 28 was the best he could do. Road to the Arena 2-8, Wang Yi 8. But he was watching the video, so he didn't want to pretend to be an onlooker and express his opinion. He had to silently wait for Unparalleled Dragon King to reply. Probably 37. My personal opinion is not accurate. I also think 37. A plumber eating mushrooms chimed in. Pig Riding Knight, the moderator of the forum, also said, "You've been idle for several years. It's already very good that you can have a 37 ratio with Wang Yi, a professional 9th pin fighter." I know. Alas, if I met him in my heyday. Road to the Arena sighed. How do you think I should fight with him? Pig Riding Knight said, "Of course you should play to the strength of Wuthering 8 movements. You should use your graceful and agile footwork to fight. Even if he catches a chance, you should be able to block a few of his attacks with the outbreak of horrible hurricane, right? As long as you delay, you will lose if you keep defending. Then your chance will come." Lu Qing nodded slightly. This was also the way he planned to fight. But with Wang Ye's terrifying iron palm, even if he used Mega Avalanche and Lightning and Fire stance, he would not be able to block more than a few of his attacks. Alas, this was also the helplessness of the weak in the situation where the gap between their strength was too big. Road to the Arena also replied with a helpless sigh. "If I was in my heyday, I would have no problem fighting like this. But now, my strength is very low, and I have been fighting for 4 days. Today there are 2 matches in 1 day. I will lose if I can't wait for Wang Yi. Master Road, to tell you the truth, don't take it to heart. Just listen to me. Well, strategically give up the match with Wang Yi and save your energy for the last match. The key for you to enter the top 16 is not Wang Yi, but Lu Qing and Tang Yu," replied Unparalleled Dragon King. Well, after reading this sentence, Lu Qing realized how stupid he was. He had never thought of giving up the match with Wang Yi. He had never considered that once he was injured by the iron palm, the following matches would be a gift to his opponent. Although he was not injured today, his wrist that was pinched by Wu Shitong still hurt faintly. If he was hit by the iron palm, it would be unimaginable. Strategically giving up seems to be a good idea. With this thought, Lu Qing was like being tempted by the devil. He almost decided that tomorrow was just a formality and a pretense. But at this moment, he remembered why he did not consider this at the beginning. I came here to experience the competition. The prize money is good, and I am eager for it. But this is not my most fundamental purpose. Is it wrong to give up when facing a professional 9th pin fighter? Shouldn't I rack my brains and play to my strengths? Even if I lose, I have to lose beautifully. Only in this way can I detect my shortcomings, learn from the competition experience, temper my own martial arts, and accumulate nutrients for future progress. Not bullying the weak, not yielding to the strong. Without the spirit of a fighter, how can I overcome the difficulties in cultivation one after another? After thinking about it for a while, Lu Qing exhaled and showed a relaxed smile. 1 match at a time. Tomorrow I will concentrate on the fight with Wang Yi and not think about the following matches. I am so stupid. After making the decision, he calmed down and looked down at the road to the arena's reply. Old dragon, I know you are right. As long as I can beat Tang Yu and Lu Qing, it doesn't matter whether I win or not. I can still enter the top 16. It is better to strategically give up and save my strength to increase the odds of winning the last match. However, although I like to boast, be a little arrogant, and have no perseverance, I always consider myself as a fighter. As a martial artist, fighting with a strong enemy is something that makes one's blood boil and fascinates. I will fight with Wang Yi well. Lu Qing sighed with emotion. He did not expect the boastful road to the arena to have such a side. Fighter is really a wonderful word. Master Road, I understand. That is why I am an amateur and you are a professional fighter. Unparalleled Dragon King said. Road to the Arena replied with a funny expression. The main reason is that the top 16 only get 5,000 yuan. If there were dozens of millions of yuan, I might strategically give up. Lu Qing was amused and almost laughed out loud. But if the top 16 get dozens of millions of yuan, even a fighter of professional 8th pin would not dare to expect to enter the top 16, because there would be stronger fighters. What kind of position could lead to what kind of temptation? As an amateur, he did not need to consider so much. A plumber eating mushrooms said, "Master Road, I didn't like to call you that before. Now I sincerely admire you. Fight with Wang Yi well. Whether you win or lose, I will toast you with a bottle of wine when we meet in the future. Now, let's talk about Tang Yu and Lu Cheng. Hee, I feel like we are gathering our wisdom and experience to break through. I am gathering wisdom and experience with Yenjika. I won't argue with you." Lu Cheng complained. Tang Yu is good at the shape of divine elephant. He is tall and heavy, has amazing leg strength and terrifying collision. It is absolutely right to treat him as the weak Wang Yi. Pig riding knight joined in the discussion. As for Lu Cheng, I have watched 2 videos of his matches and found that his most fundamental strengths are 2. One is his amazing talent in meditation. According to you in the arena, he has reached the level of great success in meditation. The other is his abnormal physical strength. It may be related to supernatural ability, or it may be because of his talent. Uncle Pig Riding Knight's analysis is right. All the martial arts strength that Lu Cheng has shown is based on these 2 aspects. For example, the condensation stance and yin-yang stance developed from meditation are the roots of the listening skill and the adjustment of the center of gravity. Supported by abnormal physical strength, they cast the madness and fierceness of 24 blizzard strikes. Unparalleled Dragon King agreed. Road to the Arena sent a thoughtful expression. It seems that to defeat Lu Cheng, we have to start from these 2 aspects. This kind of physical strength monster will become more and more powerful as the match progresses. It is not that he is stronger, but that we are weaker. Yes, use abrupt force and not give him the opportunity to use the listening skill and to use the force to return. Use the body movement of Wuthering 8 movements to reduce his range of motion and force him to fight head-on. Don't let him delay time. A plumber eating mushrooms replied. Pig Riding Knight, the moderator of the forum, added, if he uses 24 blizzard strikes to attack instead of defense, then use tornado wind and horrible hurricane to fight head-on. Don't give him a chance to rise. This is the lesson of Little Punch. Combined with reducing the range of motion, try to end the battle in a short time. Watching them discussing how to deal with him, Lu Cheng felt it was ridiculous and funny. Since he had to focus on the battle with Wang Yi tomorrow, he didn't think too much about it. He just silently wrote down the content in the notebook on the computer. He would think about it later. Feeling mentally exhausted, Lu Cheng forced himself to finish watching the video, took a shower and went to bed. The next day, he got up on time and went to the small park nearby. He began to practice today's fighting style against Wang Yi. It would be more extreme than yesterday's. Guarding his spirit and entering a state of tranquility, Lu Cheng visualized the nebula in his dantian and felt its slow rotation. Then he adjusted every inch of his muscles and felt the gradual shift of his center of gravity. Normally, when exerting force, the center of gravity was relatively still and stable. But in today's battle, Lu Cheng wanted to keep the center of gravity in a moving state, sacrificing a certain degree of exertion in exchange for more unpredictable footwork and body movements. Only by fully utilizing one of his strengths could he have a chance to compete with Wang Yi. His center of gravity was like Mercury, swaying and rolling. After getting familiar with this feeling, Lu Cheng moved his feet and adjusted his muscles all the time. Even when he punched or kicked, he still kept the center of gravity swaying and could complete the change of direction at any time. This kind of fighting style was too much for Lu Cheng's physical strength. After 1 or 2 minutes, he had to rely on the Jin Dan to replenish his energy. His spirit was also damaged, but it was relatively better. At 7:30, he felt his head was numb, so he wisely stopped the practice and returned to the hotel. First, he sent a morning greeting to Yenjika and told her that he had gotten up in the morning to train for the battle with Wang Yi. Now he needed to sleep to recover his spirit for the battle in the afternoon. Even if he lost, he would not be upset at all. In the afternoon, at 1:30, dark clouds hung over the city and the cold wind whistled. Many people gathered in Yanling Martial Arts Gym, which was much livelier than before. Lu Cheng, wearing the Songqing University Martial Arts Club's white uniform with black edges, stepped through the gate in high spirits. This would be the first time for him to challenge a professional ninth pin expert. Chapter 54. As soon as he entered the gate, the decibel level in Lu Cheng's ears skyrocketed. All kinds of noises came from all directions and converged in the air above the martial arts arena. Along with the heat wave, the noise spread to every corner. Looking up, he saw that the usually empty stands were filled with people. Crowds continued to gather in different aisles. It was much livelier than the previous 5 rounds of knockout matches. According to the number of seats in Yanling Martial Arts Arena and the remaining seats, Lu Qing estimated that there were at least 8,000 people in the audience today. Once there were more than 10,000 people, it was boundless. 8,000 people also had a similar effect. Lu Qing secretly clicked his tongue and felt that he was sinking into the sea, becoming small and insignificant. In some places suitable for filming, cameras had been set up. Some were aimed at the arena, some were filming the audience, and some were following the reporters. Unconsciously, they set up a formal and solemn atmosphere. In the group stage, Yanling TV station didn't do live broadcasts. Instead, they used shooting clips and broadcasting highlights, so there was no commentator yet. Reporters had to randomly interview the fighters, the audience, and the organizers. After the top 16, the key battles would be broadcasted to everyone in Yanling. Seeing such a grand scene, Lu Qing didn't want to be bothered by trifles. He slipped into a corner and went to the fighters' locker room to meet the staff. "Mr. Lu, your match is in the 3rd round. Before and after that, you can choose to watch the match from the guest seats in the stands or stay in the locker room to watch the big screen." Seeing that Lu Qing still looked like a student, the staff didn't know whether to call him Mr. Lu or Mr. Lu. Lu Qing thought for a while and said, "I'll take a rest in the locker room." The way he was going to fight later was a great burden on his physical strength and mental strength. He had to be highly concentrated and wait patiently. "Then I'll call you when the time is right." The staff smiled and left the locker room. The other fighters were either in the stands or had failed and left. The locker room was empty except for Lu Qing. The hubbub of people outside set off the quietness. Lu Qing enjoyed this feeling. He sat in the middle of the metal bench and took out his phone to reply to Yan Jika's message. "I'm already at the martial arts arena. I'm sitting in the changing room." "Oh right, your stomach doesn't hurt anymore, right?" Yan Jika replied with a shu emoji. "Not bad. Compared to yesterday, I feel like I've been through fire and water." "Qing, according to your description, the next move will be very tiring. Let's not chat anymore and take the time to rest." "Yeah, you don't have to cheer for me today." Lu Qing sent a funny emoji. Yan Jika replied, "Are you worried that it won't work even if we try our best?" No. It's rare for me to fight with a professional ninth pin expert. I need to show my true strength so that I can find my weaknesses and make up for them. If you do your best, won't you double your fake strength?" Lu Qing replied with a snicker. Yan Jika replied with a tearful expression, "You are so honest." "Of course." Lu Qing unknowingly put on his signature smile. Yan Jika sent an emoji of looking at the sky in a daze. "If that's the case, then I wish you all the best. Why do these words sound so familiar?" Lu Qing asked with a puzzled expression. Yan Jika replied with a snicker emoji, "I heard it when the principal was giving a speech last time." Pfft. Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. He knew that Yan Jika was trying to lighten the atmosphere and dispel his nervousness. So he sent a struggling emoji and said, "Fortunately, the principal didn't give a speech for the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. Don't worry, my goal today is to prove what I've learned. If I win, I'll be ecstatic. If I lose, I'll have no regrets." Yan Jika sent a touching head emoji and said, "Then I'll give you another sentence. My grandfather often said to my cousin, 'Enjoy the battle, enjoy the martial arts. Enjoy the battle, enjoy the martial arts.'" Lu Qing silently read these words and sent a waving emoji. He logged out of QQ and closed his eyes to rest and maintain his mental state. After some time, someone knocked on the door of the locker room. He opened his eyes and saw the staff member coming in. "Mr. Liu, it's your turn soon." The staff member made a gesture of invitation. Lu Qing patted his white martial arts suit with black edges and stood up. He took a deep breath and stepped out of the locker room. In front of him was the towering dome, the dark mass of heads and the arena where all the lights were concentrated. On the stand, Lu Yinglong, Qin Jilin and the other disciples of Baiyuan Martial Arts School came again. "Senior brother, why are you here to watch Lu Cheng's match again? Haven't you learned what you should watch?" Qin Jilin felt that it was better to do something with the time. Lu Yinglong smiled and said, "I want to see what other surprises he can create." "What surprises can he have? Can he beat Wang Yi of professional ninth pin?" Qin Jilin snorted. In the guest seats, Yi Yaoting and Jiang Lan of Danqi State sat side by side. "I don't know how long he can last," Yi Yaoting suddenly said when she saw Lu Qing walking toward the arena along the path of light. Jiang Lan was a young woman in her 20s with a demure appearance. She smiled and said, "I just hope he won't give up and make Wang Yi more tired. Wang Yi is a strong contender for the championship." "Sister Lan, why do you value Wang Yi so much?" Yi Yaoting turned her head and looked at Jiang Lan with a competitive spirit in her clear eyes. Jiang Lan gently smiled and said, "Wang Ye's fighting style is fierce, his iron palm is ruthless, and he is very good at bullying the weak. As long as he doesn't meet an evenly matched opponent, he won't consume much of his stamina. But I am just the opposite of him, accumulating my stamina one battle after another. When it comes to the final battle, I may not have the confidence to beat him before my stamina runs out. My fighting style is also very ferocious." Yi Yaoting murmured. After handing over his mobile phone and other items to the competition supervisor, Lu Qing walked up the stone steps and entered the ring step by step. Before he could stand still, he heard bursts of cheers and cheers coming from different stands. That was because in the previous few matches, he had started from nothing, accumulating the audience one by one. Thinking of this, Lu Qing felt proud and his blood began to boil. He was in the most suitable state for the battle. In front of him, Wang Yi in a dark cyan martial arts suit was standing steadily. The first match of the fourth group, Wang Yi of professional ninth pin whose iron palm has shocked the arena, versus the famous mysterious master Lu Cheng. Will Wang Yi defend the honor of professional ninth pin with his iron palm, or Lu Cheng will be a black hand to the end? In the broadcast of the martial arts arena, the announcer called out the two sides in a provocative tone. Boom! The stands were full of enthusiasm again. Lao Zheng, the young couple and other audiences cheered even harder than before. The referee raised his head and looked at the electronic clock. He looked left and right and said loudly, "Talk time starts now." As soon as he finished his words, Lu Qing saw the short-haired young man, Wang Yi, smile and say, "You're really an interesting opponent. I asked someone to look for videos of your previous matches. I can clearly see that you're using actual combat to grow little by little. In just a few days, you've shown a complete transformation. It's simply daunting. Facing an opponent like you, I should have been excited to see you and let you show off all your strengths in a battle to my heart's content. But I'm sorry, the prize money this time is very important to me. In order to save as much energy as possible to deal with the strong enemies behind me, I can only choose to end this quickly." His words were sincere, and one could hear the appreciation and regret in them. Lu Qing said with a gentle smile, "I'm sorry, too. I'm afraid I can't let you have a quick battle." After that, they looked at each other and smiled. The confidence of martial artists was in their hearts. Lu Qing and Wang Yi stopped talking and waited patiently for the time to pass, ignoring the confrontation on the spiritual level. Start. Suddenly, the referee waved his right hand. Lu Qing, who was ready to attack, suddenly jumped out. He adjusted his muscles and kept changing his center of gravity, like a snake that was wriggling to attack. Wang Yi didn't move. He slightly lowered his waist and half raised his hands. He didn't make a judgment in advance. Rolling his center of gravity, Lu Qing took a step forward and came to Wang Ye's left side. His right palm was like an illusory cold, silently but quickly patted. Bam! Wang Ye's right hand suddenly came out from under his left armpit. He didn't have time to prepare before he patted out an iron palm that tore the airflow. The faint metallic luster reflected a faint light. He was going to meet Lu Qing's attack head-on. Lu Qing clearly remembered that in the second round of the knockout match, an amateur third-pin fighter was careless and directly injured his metacarpal bone by Lu Qing's palm. Lu Qing's center of gravity rolled again. His right palm drew an arc with his footwork and dispersed the force. He flashed behind Wang Yi like a ghost, as if he had anticipated and prepared for this. Before he could stand firm and make a move, Wang Yi pulled the muscles of his left leg and kicked out with a horse kick. This kick came without any warning. Under the strange posture, the strength was actually able to link up bit by bit. It was extremely explosive, comparable to the tiger tail kick of Invincible Punch, Jin Tao. It was fast, accurate, and ruthless. His body swayed and his center of gravity rolled again. Lu Qing didn't wait to stand firm. He took a step forward and came to Wang Ye's right side, just in time to avoid the kick. Such a change stunned the audience, who felt that he seemed to violate human dynamics. Lu Qing's posture was strange. He shook his right arm and whipped Wang Yi, who had just retracted his left leg. Wang Yi had watched Lu Qing's previous match videos and remembered his ability to control his muscles and coordinate his center of gravity. His haystack fishing for the moon and horse kick were prepared for this. But he didn't expect that Lu Qing could adjust his center of gravity again and again, even if there were attacks in between. Wang Ye's face turned serious. His right hand, which had been swinging to the left, suddenly swung back, making a short and rapid sound of friction with the air. Then he hit Lu Qing. The secret unique skill of iron palm, back thrust. Back thrust was so powerful and unexpected that Lu Yinglong and the other spectators raised their eyebrows in fear. They felt that Lu Qing had no choice but to take the attack head-on. Once he did, the match would enter Wang Ye's territory. But Lu Qing, like a ghost, turned back in the attack. Although he dispersed the inch force of his right arm, he still avoided Wang Ye's back thrust and appeared behind his opponent again. Mercurial center of gravity. Yi Yaoting murmured in the stands. Jiang Lan beside her smiled and whispered, interesting. If it weren't for the fact that his strength was scattered and there was still a long way to go before he could fully condense it, I would have suspected that he was a real Danqi martial artist. In the center of the arena, Wang Yi was not surprised but delighted. His face was full of enthusiasm for martial arts. This kind of opponent is interesting. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.